ring these people up for support if you feel like you need counselling or anything like that.
And Thames Valley Police has confirmed it is investigating another unrelated assault at the prison yesterday, which saw an inmate also taken to hospital. Plans for further limits to the benefits EU migrants can claim are to be set out by the Prime Minister. David Cameron will say they shouldn't receive tax credits or social or council housing until they've lived and worked in the UK for 4 years. But in a speech this morning, he's expected to stop short of suggesting a limit on the number of people coming to the UK. Police have been called to 4 London supermarkets overnight over fears of crowd surges. Nobody has been injured. No arrests were made. Many British retailers are importing the American tradition of Black Friday, a day of big discounts to start the Christmas shopping season. More from Emma Simpson.
Visa Europe is predicting that today will be the biggest online shopping day of the year, with more than £500 million being spent on its cards alone. That's £6,000 a second. It was the American online retailer Amazon that brought Black Friday across the Atlantic 4 years ago. There were chaotic scenes last year as Asda, owned by America's biggest retailer Walmart, ran big promotions in stores. Now lots of other high street names are joining in, keen to grab their share of the crucial Christmas spend.
A boat has been badly damaged by fire in Milton Keynes overnight. 14 firefighters were called to Oversley Court in Gifford Park by the Grand Union Canal just before 10:30 last night. The water rescue unit from Newport Pagnell also attended, but no one was injured. The Chief Medical Officer is urging parents to ensure toddlers receive the flu vaccine to protect elderly or frail relatives. All 2, 3 and 4-year-olds are now eligible. In sport, a flurry of loan transfers yesterday, included Stevenage signing striker Ryan Brunt from Bristol Rovers, Luton's Alex Wall leaving for the Bristol side, and Wickham signing Fred Onyedinma from Millwall. And cricket officials in Australia say no decision has been made about next week's test against India following the death of Philip Hughes. England are due to resume their one-day series in Sri Lanka tomorrow. The weather, a cloudy start with some drizzle, but brightening up with some sunshine this afternoon, a maximum temperature 12 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Today on BBC Three Counties Radio.
From 9.
The JVS Show.
With the big phone-in, the hottest topic of the day, and your consumer problems. From 12.
Nick Coffer.
With Duncan Dyerson, who spends 9 months of his year in Guatemala, then comes back to Amersham to raise funds for his work in the South American country.
From 3.
Roberto Perroni.
The best stories as they happen every single afternoon, and the greatest talking points.
From 7.
Mark Forrest.
I'll bring you the best bits from everything that's been happening on BBC Local Radio.
Today on BBC Three.
Now, we haven't got time for that. It's a busy show this morning. We haven't got time for Forrest to blow his trumpet. You can't see the forest for the wood. Oh, dear. That's an inappropriate phrase, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it, guys? I'm literally rolling my sleeves up as we prepare for Friday, the last show of the week for you. I've got another 2 more to do. These are kind of my practice shows before I do the real radio shows on a Friday afternoon and a Saturday morn.
What?
Sorry?
What are you talking about?
Hey, you weren't supposed
those are your weekend Saturday boy jobs.
You weren't supposed to hear those. Hey, guys!
Hey.
Happy Black Friday! Probably can't call it Black Friday anymore, but we're going to go with it until somebody blows their politically correct horn. Probably can't call it horn anymore.
What does it even mean?
What it means is that shops trick us into thinking they're selling stuff cheaper than they actually are.
People are queuing up for things.
Why would you queue up for things when you can get it delivered now via Amazon, and other places? Although that's the biggest. I don't actually know what Black Friday means.
Something to do with America.
Yeah.
It's the first shopping day after Thanksgiving or something.
But what? Okay.
Why Black Friday?
That it's cheaper for Christmas.
So hang on a second. Why is it over in this country where we don't have Thanksgiving? Because we're not stupid.
Because we celebrate other things like that, like Halloween.
When did Kelly become the voice of reason?
She's not the voice of reason. She's chatting absolute.
Thank you very much indeed. That's what I think. OK, so what's coming up on the show this morning? Prisoner on prisoner violence, pupils win prizes for attendance, and Bedfordshire family celebrates independence. And what the hell is Black Friday?
across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
But first, some bloody good music. I think you played the...
Were that band hearing themselves?
I think you played the wrong mix. That was fuzzier than I remember. I don't
That
remember.
was rubbish.
A lot of fuzzy reverb on that.
Sorry?
I said that was rubbish.
Excuse me?
Says.
I said it was rubbish.
Says.
Rubbish.
What? You said my
I mean, I don't mind Ash.
You said my teenage years were rubbish.
Yeah, they probably were, actually.
What are you doing that?
I said my teenage years were rubbish. What is that for?
Why are you doing my voice?
08459 455 555. What the hell
Was that rubbish? Call me now.
Well, what the hell is Black Friday? Or is someone on Twitter is already calling it Cack Friday?
It's an excuse for people to go wild in the aisles.
Hey.
More fool us.
Hey, I won that record on eBay, Kels. The one that I was talking about.
The really expensive one. How much did you want it for?
I need to stop going on eBay, man.
Can your kids still eat this weekend?
I could have bought a small car for that record. Now, the Ministry of Justice has confirmed... A second-hand one. The Ministry of Justice has confirmed that another inmate has been attacked at Wood Hill Prison. Yesterday's attack was prisoner on prisoner, and officials are not connecting it with an assault last Thursday, which has left a 27-year-old man fighting for his life. His family are demanding a full investigation. Isn't that right, Catherine?
Yep, and this is talking about last Thursday's attack, so we're not linking the two attacks that have happened. What we know is last Thursday's victim was a young man from High Wycombe. He's now lying in a medically induced coma after undergoing emergency brain surgery. He's being guarded by two prison officers, and his sister Umi's been talking to us. She tells us that at one point he was handcuffed to the bed. She describes how the family found out he'd been hurt.
The prison rang at home and asked to speak to my mum, and all they said was, we're calling to let you know that your son's in hospital, and they couldn't give us any more details and just told us to make our way there straight away. My mum dropped the phone because she was just completely in shock, so I took the phone on and said, I'm his sister, what's happened? And they said, well, I can't tell you anything, all we know that he's been assaulted, you need to make your way there.
And so I'm guessing the family would like some answers, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they believe that there was a delay in getting him the right treatment, and they raise questions as to how this was allowed to happen in the first place. Umi says that the prison has failed him.
There seems to be a delay between when the incident happened and when he received the right medical attention. What they've told us, they didn't deem the injury to be serious enough. We want a full investigation. We want to know what happened, how they allowed it to happen, what the motivation behind it is, all this, what type of safeguarding, obviously it's failed, the safeguarding's failed, it all needs to be reviewed.
This attack and the one reported yesterday are not a complete surprise, though, are they?
Well, you could say that because the last report from the Independent Monitoring Board said that watchdogs were increasingly concerned that the year-on-year increases in cuts on services may lead to a potential loss of control, making the prison unsafe for both staff and prisoners. That's taken directly from that official report. Also, an unannounced inspection earlier this year found high levels of assault, almost double what inspectors have seen in other local prisons. There's a new management team in place at Woodhill, including a new governor, who say they are getting to grips with the challenges of managing that prison.
Response from the authorities, this attack, what have they said?
Well, of course, we went to them to try and see if we could talk to them live this morning. We've got a statement here from a prison service spokesperson. The police and HMP Woodhill are investigating an incident in which a prisoner was allegedly attacked by another prisoner on Thursday the 20th of November. We do not tolerate violence of any kind in prison. We have systems in place to deal with perpetrators quickly and robustly. We recently announced a new joint protocol with the CPS and will always press for the most serious charges to be laid against those who carry out assaults. As for being handcuffed and guarded in hospital, this is from the Ministry of Justice. Public protection is our top priority, and prison governors have a duty to mitigate the potential risks prisoners pose to the public, medical staff and other hospital users. Individuals are assessed in hospital, and once their condition is known, restraints can be reviewed and removed if appropriate. We are still waiting for a response from Thames Valley Police on that one.
Thank you very much. Stop that, because I didn't realise you were on the line, Kev. Sorry, Kev.
No problem. I thought you were trying to get a job on radio too, then.
Well,
what was that rubbish that you were playing?
Sorry?
What was that rubbish that you were playing?
Just say that one more time.
What was that rubbish you were playing?
That was my early 20s, mate. That was Ash and Kung Fu. The song by Jackie Chan.
I'm glad that you've grown up a little bit.
Excuse me?
I said I am glad that you have grown up a little bit.
If I was to jump in my car now, Catherine, how long would it take me to drive to Northampton and give this schmuck a slap?
Well, given that you're on 9 points, probably a bit slower than it would have been last week.
Oh, damn you, Kevin. The law is in your favour this time, but it won't always be.
Hey, are you calling me a schmuck?
Oh, yeah, baby, baby. Now, if there's a smile on my face, it's only that trying to fool the public. But when it goes down, I'm fooling you. But now, honey, that's quite a different subject. So don't let my glad expression give you the wrong impression. 'Cause really I'm sad. Oh, I'm sadder than sad. Look, I'm hurt and I want you so bad.
Morning, folks.
I feel to be glad. Ooh, yeah, the rest is sad. Please know the man. Man, too much sadder than the tears of the clown when there's no one around. I say, oh yeah, baby, baby, baby. Oh yeah, baby, baby, baby. Now if I appear to be carefree, it's only to camouflage my sadness. In order to shield my pride, I try to cover this up with a show of gladness. So don't let my show convince you that I've been happy since you decided to go. Oh, I need you so. Look, I'm hurt and I want you to know just what others have put on a show. Ooh, yeah, that's the sad. Please know the man. Man, too much sadder than the tears of a clown when there's no one around. So just like Pagliacci did, I'm gonna keep myself this here, hiding in the gloom I try, but in this lonely room I cry the tears of a clown when there's no one around. Now if there's a smile on my face, well don't let my glad expression give you the wrong impression. Well, don't let this smile I wear make you feel that I don't care. The tears of a clown, the tears of a clown, the tears of I'm going down the ground, the tears of I'm going downtown, the tears of a clown.
Oh, blimey.
Hey, are you calling me a schmuck?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Having a look at the CCTV cameras, and it's looking very quiet out there at the moment. Things moving well on the M4 and on the M1 this morning. Having a look in High Wycombe and Marlow Hill, there's some temporary traffic lights at the junction for Marlow Road, and that is likely to cause it to get busy later on this afternoon. And in Little Haddam on the A120, there's some temporary traffic lights at Albury Road, so that could cause some queues there as well. In Edmonton on the North Circular Road, it's moving well again after the overnight roadworks there finished late at the Great Cambridge Interchange. It has now fully reopened and it's all moving fine. And having a look at the trains, there's no reports of any major problems at the moment. And East Coast trains through.
Come on, now, come on. Come on, Sammy. Would you do this on TalkSport? Really?
I'm using my brain. It doesn't. So there's hour-long delays on the East Coast services.
She's having a breakdown live on the radio.
Through Stevenage, there could be hour-long delays on that service between London King's Cross and Leeds.
We finish at 9 this morning. You know that, don't you? Just, if you want to wrap up at any point. I mean, I don't know. Would you give this shoddy a performance on TalkSport?
I can't answer that.
So, yes, you probably would. Thank you, Sammy. 6:17. It is Friday. Sing Hosannas. The 28th of November. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a man who was attacked in Woodhill Prison in Milton Keynes have criticised the prison service for failing to treat him quickly enough. Plans for further limits to the benefits EU migrants can claim are set to be set out by the Prime Minister. And Citizen Calm returns soon for a brand new Series 3.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Coffer.
Every weekday from 12, Nick Coffer brings you...
The wickedly funny Anne on Strictly Come Dancing. Do you know who the real Anne is?
Great guests.
Yes, the real Anne is an amalgam of all those things. We're all multifaceted.
Jasper Carrot's career spans 5 decades.
And then you had to wear a bow tie and you had to do jokes about silly Irishmen and mother-in-laws.
John Cleese is eating his microphone, aren't you, John Cleese?
Great music.
Ow! Da-da-da-da-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da. In fact, I don't even think it had the horn part then.
Great conversations.
I always have said throughout my career, you get me on board, I'll give you 100%.
Have you still got it, Billy Ocean?
Well, the audience seems to think I have.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, guys. Received a letter this morning, Catherine, a very upsetting, very disturbing letter.
I kind of saw it, and I saw some of the writing on the address on the envelope, and it's usually a telltale sign, and I did offer to read it first, but you went straight in there.
I thought it was sent from a child, from the Make-A-Wish Foundation or something, that was asking for signed photos or something. Because the writing wasn't particularly good, just.
What's happened?
Received a letter, mate.
Right.
And it's a very upsetting letter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a human being. I'm made of flesh, blood, I got bones, I got guts, I got feelings. I've also got a lot of talent as well, but that's by the by.
Oh, yeah.
It's from Andrew in Bedford, regular...
right, yeah, I know where this is going.
Regular caller to the show.
Is it him, though?
I've warned you about him, I've warned you.
You did.
There might be more than one Andrew living in
I checked the census, and the consensus of the census is that the census are telling us there's only one Andrew in Bedford.
Fair enough.
Iain Lee, no dear, no mister. Nothing. It's a rude style. As soon as you see that, you think, all right, there we go.
Also, no address, because it's just Andrew in Bedford. If we respond, we just have to write Andrew in Bedford on the envelope.
Iain Lee, you are a rude, obnoxious brown-noser. Brown-noser?
Wow.
What year is
He
this?
used to call me that on the Early Riser years ago.
So egotistical that you drown out anyone whose views are different to your own narrow-minded, bigoted opinions. I know that what this is referring to because I questioned someone from UKIP on the air the other day. Since then, my Twitter feed has been full of... There's some idiot on there called Spunky.
What?
Yeah, I know, who has been having a go... Anyway. Except, of course, when you are brown-nosing some minor official. It must cost you a fortune in tissues wiping the excrement from your hooter. Especially as it occupies a large portion of your smug face.
Oh, personal, no need for that.
Second person to reference a big nose of mine in the last week. Catherine was the first.
I never said it was big.
I don't expect you will read this tome out on radio in your put-on whiny voice mode. And then he signed it, or at least I think he signed it, unless a spider has taken acid and got his feet in ink and just scribbled across the paper. P.S. Tell Kelly Betts to grow a pair.
I can't.
Gosh.
It will hurt me.
What have you done, Kels, to upset this important listener?
I answered his calls. I put him on air.
That'll be
Maybe
it.
that was it.
Andrew. Pick up the phone, 08459 455 555. Let's discuss this like men, if you dare.
And I never said you had a big nose. I said it was bulbous.
Go away. Justin.
Can I just say, I deal in fact, not fiction.
Yep.
I warned you approximately 4 weeks ago this was going to happen. You laughed at me, and now it's happened. Would you like to say anything to me?
I was going to give you the opportunity to introduce the Four Seasons and Who Loves You, but I'm not going to do that now.
OK, fair enough.
Thank you. Oh, I've got to do that, haven't I? Give us a call, Andrew, for goodness sakes. Don't be a baby.
everywhere. Christmas is not coming. Morning, folks.
I am going to retire because I'm not going to sit here all night reading emails.
So boobs is not news.
I love big bumps. Just take Uranus out of the picture. Just say it explodes.
I don't want people making love while I'm talking.
Hey, are you calling me a schmuck?
Women in underwear just look nice.
We're called the rap capital of Europe.
Loves you, pretty Justin?
Ooh.
Who's gonna help you feel alright? Who loves you? Who's gonna love you? Love you? Who's gonna love you, pretty Justin? Who's gonna love you and tuck you in at night?
The streets are gonna love me today. It's Black Friday.
Black Friday, guys! What the hell is Black Friday?
It's when people go crazy in the shops and they think they're going out to get bargains, but probably by the time they get there, that bargain would have gone.
I bought a microwave yesterday. Should I have bought it today?
Quite possibly, yes.
Bums.
You're a muppet.
A school in Luton we'll talk more about Black Friday. Maybe we'll see if we can find anyone who's actually bothered by this ridiculous Americanism. It's the latest thing to come from America since Halloween.
Yeah, that's true.
A school in Luton is offering kids the chance to win a bike or a scooter if they get enough ticks on the register. Whitefield Primary School in the Marsh Farm area of the town says it's already shown an increase in their total attendance. Daly, how do you win a bike?
It's incredible, this, isn't it? Well, how it works is that each half term, any child who has an attendance of 95% or over, they will receive a raffle ticket. Now, at the end of the school year, raffle tickets are drawn for first, second and third prizes. Meanwhile, Ian, each week the class with the best attendance, they get a certificate, as well as getting to look after the attendance bear of the week.
Beautiful.
And they also get an extra 5 minutes of playtime as well.
Beautiful.
All for turning up at school.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Do we know why they've introduced these prizes?
Well, I think they're hoping it's going to increase attendance, with the prospect that greater attendance will lead to greater achievement. Whitefield Primary School.
Can you just say it? Because listen, we're supposed to be impartial, Justin. Can you say it without the contempt and disdain in your voice? Because I think this is a cracking idea.
Really?
Yeah.
OK, I mean, Whitefield Primary School, it's based in the Marsh Farm area of Luton, and if you look at their last Ofsted inspection, it marked the school as requiring improvement. However, it was praised for the behaviour and safety of the school, which does include the work they've been doing to improve attendance. Since then, there's been a new head teacher. They're trying to raise standards in the school, and that includes this new incentive for attendance with a raffle.
I think this is a brilliant idea. It's not unusual, is it? It happens in a few other places.
No, it's not actually. There are many schools up and down the country which have incentives for good attendance with trips or prizes, quite similar to this scheme we're talking about today. Many schools, they use something called the Vivo Miles system. Now, that allows children to earn points for various good behaviour, work and attendance, and those points, they can be spent on things like iPods. However, some parents say this punishes children because children could have good attendance, they could be fantastic pupils, but of course they could get ill, so they won't get those points.
Oh, for goodness sakes, no. Listen, when I was in primary school, we had a similar thing, and I'm talking 35 years ago, and I remember having near perfect attendance. I was allowed to go up and choose a prize, and I chose a little notepad.
But why should it be about attendance? It should be about achievement, because it's illegal for children not to go to school.
Yeah, but it's the Marsh Farm estate, OK, where it's not the most well-off area, and a lot of these kids and a lot of these parents of kids don't see necessarily that there is... They don't not necessarily it's encouraging for their kids to go to school as perhaps other people are.
I know what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Hear me now.
But for me personally, when I was at school, we had something every single week for great achievement. I think I won it once. I think I won some McDonald's vouchers. How time?
Oh, hang on a minute. Boyle's got a hand up.
I was going to say, does it matter? The ends justify the means. If they're getting in school, there is a chance they might see the light.
08459 455 555. Whose side are you on? Justin's or mine's? Is this a great idea, or is it... how would you phrase it, Just?
I would say, is it a great idea, or is it a sign of the times which are clearly wrong?
Thank you very much, Justin. We'll speak to you about 10-2. We'll find something else for you to do later on. Cheers. Oh, and Andrew, who wrote that letter, is coming on after this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, we're just hearing reports from callers that it's looking very slow between junction 11 and 10 because of a breakdown. Elsewhere on the M1, things are moving very well on the speed sensors, and checking the M25, there's no reports of any problems there at the moment. There's roadworks going on around the Black Cat roundabout, so that could cause you some problems if you're travelling on the A1 this morning. And on the North Circular Road, things are moving well again around the Great Cambridge interchange after the overnight roadworks there finished late this morning. On the trains, an update: East Coast have hour-long delays, but they're on the services between London, King's Cross and Leeds, Newcastle and Edinburgh. So just check the departure boards, and at the moment it's only affecting services north of Peterborough and not affecting services towards London, but I will keep you updated if that does change. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The family of a man who was attacked in Woodhill Prison in Milton Keynes have criticised the prison service for failing to treat him quickly enough. Plans for further limits to the benefits EU migrants can claim are to be set out by the Prime Minister in a speech this morning, and police have been called to supermarkets overnight after disturbances as shoppers queued for Black Friday bargains.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The flurry of loan transfers yesterday included Stevenage signing striker Ryan Brunt from Bristol Rovers, Luton's Alex Wall leaving for the Bristol side, and Wickham signing Fred Onyenma from Millwall. Former Watford manager Billy McKinlay has been appointed as David Moyes' assistant at Real Sociedad in Spain. McKinlay was only in charge at Watford for 8 days back in September. The Hornets host Cardiff tomorrow in the Championship with keeper Aurelio Gomez again a fitness doubt. In League One, Milton Keynes Dons welcome back centre-half Carl McFadzean after suspension at home to Colchester, but skipper Dean Lewington is still ruled out with injury. League Two leaders Wickham make the long trip to Hartlepool. Third place Luton hosts managerless Mansfield without suspended centre-half Luke Wilkinson. Hatters boss John Still says the visiting players should take responsibility.
If I left here tomorrow, this lot could manage themselves. Everyone knows their job. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone knows what we do in training. Everyone knows the level of importance that we place on certain things.
And Stevenage host Morecambe. The Borough have also extended the loan of Southend frontman Lee Barnard. Everton and Tottenham are through to the knockout stages of the Europa League. Everton won 2-0 away to Wolfsburg. Spurs beat Partizan Belgrade 1-0. Cricket officials in Australia say no decision has been made about next week's test against India following the death of Philip Hughes. England are due to resume their one-day series in Sri Lanka tomorrow. Former England captain Michael Vaughan is against changing the rules in the wake of Hughes' death.
The day that someone says that the bouncer rule has to stop, anyone can play. That's the difference between playing cricket that's not of a great standard to playing at the highest level. This is a freak incident, and if we're saying that the bouncer has to go, I'm afraid that's the end of Test match cricket.
Bedford Rugby Club host Doncaster this evening in the British and Irish Cup, aiming to bounce back from Sunday's league thrashing at the Cornish Pirates. Kick-off at Goldington Road is at 7:45, and Formula One bosses have agreed to ditch the controversial final race double point scheme for next season. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I believe that. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining me in the studio.
You're welcome. I'm contractually obliged to.
We mentioned the letter earlier on from Andrew in Bedford. Second letter of complaint from...
I can't believe our Andrew in Bedford would write such a thing.
Shall we ask him?
Yeah.
Andrew?
Good morning, Ian.
Did you write such a thing?
I did.
Pourquoi?
Oh, Andrew.
Well, because
Shall I read it? For those who've just tuned in, shall I read the letter?
You can do, yeah.
Iain Lee. No dear. No mister.
No hi, not even a hi.
Not even a hi. Iain Lee. You are a rude, obnoxious brown-noser. So egotistical...
Oh.
You're right. That you drown out anyone whose views are different to your own narrow-minded, bigoted opinions. Except, of course, when you are brown-nosing some minor official. It must cost you a fortune. Could you just breathe a little bit softer, Andrew, because it's... Thank you. It must... What are you doing?
I'm just taking some milk out there and making myself a cup of tea, is that all right?
Yeah, OK. If you could do it a little bit quieter.
OK.
It must cost you a fortune in tissues wiping the excrement from your hooter, especially as it occupies a large portion of your smug face. This sentence... I don't understand this sentence. I think you've missed a comma or a word out, but I'll go with it. I don't expect that you will read this tome out on radio in your put-on whiny voice mode. Then you've drawn a picture, and then you've written, P.S. Tell Kelly Betts to grow a pair.
Yeah.
Where do we start, Andrew? Where do we start?
Well, I've explained the P.S. to Kelly and why I put that.
Well, explain it to me. You've told Kelly Betts to grow a pair. What's that about?
Well, I rang a few days ago, and it was early in the morning, not long after 6, and she said she was going to ring me back. Although she said now she might ring me back.
She wouldn't have said that. She would have said, we will try and ring you back, or something along those lines.
Yeah, well, there was no calls in the next hour, because I listened to the whole show.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I'd have thought, if you get a call, you're not particularly busy, you're playing music. Are you a talk show or are you a music show where you fit in talk?
Well, we're a talk show, but we're not necessarily a phone-in show. Do you see the difference?
Now you're contradicting yourself, Ian, because you always say, rather than getting emails, and I listen to you regularly, rather than getting these emails and...
Andrew, I'm going to stop you there. You don't have a God-given right to come on this show just because you phoned up.
I know that,
So that's clear, okay? So don't be rude to my colleagues. Right, now, on to me. You're a rude, obnoxious brown-noser. Explain that, Andrew.
Well, I think that I can, it's palpable. I can hear your teeth gritting almost metaphorically when you're interviewing people whose views you don't agree with.
This is because of the interview with the gentleman from UKIP, wasn't it?
No.
Yes, it was.
No, it was not.
What was the catalyst for this letter?
No, it was an interview... it's been not just that one interview, but several.
So not just that. So it was partly. It was partly the UKIP guy.
No, it was not. No, that wasn't even included in it.
Oh, you just said okay. Well, which one?
It was a number of interviews, particularly with minor officials, including people like PCCs and local government officials.
Yeah, if they come on. And they've done a good job. What am I supposed to do? Give them a rollicking for doing a good job?
No, but you can tell from the tone of your voice and the tone of your questions that you don't think they've done a good job. But yet you don't as you did on when I last called in, I'm making a reasonably point to Catherine. I couldn't even hardly hear myself think because you were playing music over the top of it. Now that's incredibly rude, Ian.
Andrew, I tell you what, I've got an idea.
What?
Why don't you stop listening? How about that? We call it quits, because I don't want this to get nasty. You stop listening, and you stop sending me obnoxious letters. How about that? Because the thing is, I don't mind the criticism. I think it's unfair to pick on Kelly. I can take it. But then why have you said I've got a big nose? I don't understand that, because that's rude, isn't it? I don't understand that bit.
All right, okay, I'll apologise now to that. But that was.
But then why would you do that, Andrew? Particularly in a letter when you've got a chance to kind of look at it and go, do you know what? That's a bit harsh.
Yes, in retrospect, I agree with you.
So, shall we shake hands? Shall we shake hands?
No, just let me explain.
No, I'm not interested. Shall we shake hands and you go and listen to Heart? How's about that? Sound like a deal?
Well, no, I'll continue to listen to you. I'm not going to be dictated by you two who I can listen to.
But you don't like it, so why would you listen?
I do like it.
Well, could you stop, Andrew?
I actually think, Ian, that you are sometimes a great interviewer.
I'm brilliant.
You are very good.
No, I'm brilliant.
But you let yourself down.
No, I don't. I don't let myself down.
You do let yourself down.
No, Andrew.
Why do you have to take the attitude if I'm having a conversation with Catherine? Why do you have to play? Now, listen, it's my turn to speak.
No, it's not your turn. Andrew, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It's not your turn to speak. Listen, here's the deal. You can listen if you want. I'm not going to read any more letters in your childlike scrawl, and I'm not going to let you come on air anymore. How's about that? Deal?
What childlike?
It's my choice. Andrew's banned, Kelly, so if he calls up, don't even say we'll try and call you back, just say Ian doesn't want you on air.
But I've got no balls. Would you be OK to do that for me?
Yeah, Andrew, you're not welcome on there. Thank you very much indeed. Catherine, what you got in the papers?
Oh, hasn't Michael Burke got thin?
Hasn't he just got thin, innit?
It's like he's in the jungle and he's not eating as much food as he did before when he wasn't in the jungle.
Why are they making up a story about him being thin? Yeah, he's thin. Big wows.
Yeah.
People who aren't thin, John Cleese. There's one of the papers, it might be The Sun, has got their head... There's a picture of John Cleese. He's an old man. He's put on a bit of weight. Monty Python.
Oh.
Yeah. You can't joke about Muslims. They'll kill you, says Cleese in the Mail. So The Sun has gone for Monty Python, and the Mail has gone for John Cleese, saying Muslims, that isn't saying you can't make jokes about them, it just means they will kill you. Theoretically you could. The problem is if you make jokes about people who are going to kill you, there's a sort of tendency to hold back a little, isn't there? Just a little. Out of context, that sounds like an outrageous thing to say.
Yes.
Then you realise... He was saying it on a show called Real Time on HBO, which is hosted by Bill Maher, where people kind of are supposed to say... They talk about stuff like that, and they're supposed to say things that are slightly outrageous. Mm-hmm. So in context, it's a joke, isn't it? Isn't it?
Isn't that a shame for the newspapers who like to make a meal of those things?
It is, really. Monty Python. That's quite good, actually, Monty Python.
Well, but like you say, he's an old fella.
Look at these... talk of brown noses, these two kids here.
Oh, don't. It's not their fault.
Well, It's her fault. The parking police, age 9, shaming parents on the school run. There's 2 kids, year 5. They've got high-vis jackets on, notepads, and they're wearing hats that say Mini PCSO.
That would have been me.
Anyone who doesn't want to be a total embarrassment to their children had better stick to the rules. For details of offending cars are read out over a tannoy by the youngsters for all and sundry to hear.
That would have been me.
The naming and shaming policy has led to a dramatic reduction in parents blocking the road or stopping on the yellow zigzags. Oh, for goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that would have been me.
Twice a week, 2 year 5 pupils, aged 9 or 10. Little...
Cunning, though, isn't it, getting children to do the work of an adult because they won't get punched?
Won't they?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, we have been told about a breakdown between junction 11 and 10, but having a look at the speed sensors, things are moving fine through there at the moment. Elsewhere, looking very like it's moving very well on the A1M, but on the North Circular Road, it's looking very heavy around the M25 junction 21A roundabout. In Hatfield on the Great North Road, there's roadworks around Southway, and that could cause some delays to your journey this morning. And on the trains, East Coast have hour-long delays between London King's Cross and Leeds, Newcastle and Edinburgh. So if you get on at Stevenage at the moment, that's affecting northbound service services after Peterborough and not affecting services into London at the moment. On the Bellier Greater Anglia services, there are 10-minute delays between Bishop Stortford and Cambridge because of a failure at a level crossing. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
6:45, Friday the 28th of November. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a man who was attacked in Wood Hill Prison in Milton Keynes have criticised the prison service for failing to treat him quickly enough. Plans for further limits to the benefits EU migrants can claim are to be set out by the Prime Minister. And police have been called to supermarkets overnight after disturbances as shoppers queued for Black Friday. Can somebody tell me what Black Friday is and why anybody would be interested in it?
Yes.
Good.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, we've got a bit of a gloomy start to the day, but probably some spots of drizzle around as well. But it does start to improve from the southeast, so for many of us we'll start to see some brighter skies, if not some sunny spells. The further west you are, less likely that is, but it may reach that far before the sun sets. We have got winds increasing today, though, so a bit of an easterly breeze with highs of 12 or 13 degrees Celsius. They're very warm for the time of year again. Some clear spells overnight, mostly dry, but in the wrong place you could just have the odd shower. Temperatures between 8 and 10 degrees. And tomorrow, the winds have pretty much eased overnight, so we've got lighter winds, lots of sunny spells around from fairly early on as well. Again, the further west you are, the least chance you have of that. But still, temperatures getting up to about 11 degrees Celsius. It goes downhill a little on Sunday as it becomes cooler and more cloudy. And Monday, we've got a front pushing through. It's going to be fairly weak, but we could see some rain from that, but a bit more settled from Tuesday onwards. That's your latest forecast.
iPlayer the taxi journey when the weather chat has dried up after 5 minutes. iPlayer your other half's really bad taste in TV. iPlayer the first chance you've had to sit down since that customer. An iPlayer ending up in the wrong queue at the supermarket every single time. BBC iPlayer. BBC radio and TV, always there when you need it.
Kelly Betts, tell us about BBC Introducing and what we've got today.
BBC Introducing is a show that supports and... Sorry, my headphones... Hang on.
Okay. You've only got a 20-second window here, mate. So.
It's just really good to tune in from Saturdays from 8. We add a song to the playlist. This is called Hannah... This is Hannah Scott, and it's called... I'm just building up suspense because I know that your hand's on it. My Dad and I.
What's your dad got to do with it?
It's just about what it's about.
Oh.
Daddy's driving us to the seaside for the weekend. I'm beside him, so excited I could burst. I'm 5 years old, but I'm feeling older, and I'm feeling like
Well, that's Hannah Scott, My Dad and I. Nice one, Kels. You like that one? You choose these, don't you?
I do, yeah, every week.
BBC introducing.
Yep.
On Saturday evenings.
Yep.
8 o'clock.
Yep.
You produce it.
Yep.
Gary Floyd presents it.
Yep.
Featuring any of the Shires this week?
No.
Oh, I like the Shires.
Do you?
Yeah, I love the Shires. Yeah, maybe we can get them in over Christmas.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They'd love that.
Let's get them in over Christmas.
Hannah Scott, by the way, is performing acoustically on Saturday if you want to listen.
I'm busy then.
Oh, maybe iPlayer.
Aye.
Player.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you, Hannah. Excellent stuff. Got to stop it now, though, because this man waits for nobody.
Hannah Scott, good morning. Can I just say my mum is a big fan of Hannah Scott. Absolutely true. She phoned me last week and said, heard this record on the radio. I said, oh, tell me more. She went, I really, really like it. Apparently she's playing a set in London. I said, oh, that's Hannah Scott.
No,
my mum's a big fan.
No.
What?
That was Natasha North, and that was last week.
Oh, OK. She likes Natasha North, then.
I bet she'll like Hannah Scott too, though.
I'm sure she will.
Could you ask her?
I will.
OK.
And get back to us.
Bit awkward for... You left Hannah on tenterhooks.
But Hannah's music is also very good.
Whose do you prefer, Hannah's or Natasha's?
Oh, that's a tough question. I'm going to go with Tash.
Oh.
Tash North.
What does Natasha sing, Justin?
I don't know the name of the song, but I know her music's very good.
Give us a little bit. Give us a snatch.
Well, I can't sing now.
Come on.
I'm not warmed up.
Come on.
Later on.
Come on.
I can sing you a reggae Christmas.
Go on then, mate.
We wish you a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae Christmas and a reggae New Year.
You've taken this to the streets, haven't you? It's our Christmas theme this year.
Yeah, do you know what? Yesterday you were playing this. I think you must have played it about 20 times in an hour. And a lot of people were phoning up saying they absolutely loved it. So off the back of yesterday's show, Ian, I took this one to the streets. And I have to say, this was quite possibly the easiest Vox I've done in a long time, because people were actually coming up to me saying how much they enjoyed it, genuinely. So I took the song to the streets to try and get people to sing it and lift people's spirits. They did exactly that. Ian, here's what happened. Here we go. What's your name, by the way?
Rhonda.
Nice to meet you, Rhonda. Wish you
a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae Christmas and a reggae New Year.
Yes, Rhonda, that was beautiful. You're in the mood for Christmas, for a reggae Christmas now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in the mood for reggae Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wagwan.
Wagwan.
George, after 3. 1, 2, 3.
We wish you a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae Christmas and a reggae New Year.
Madam, what's your name?
Norma.
Norma. The reggae Christmas song. You've been listening to Iain today. Tell us your thoughts on the reggae song.
I think it's brilliant. Every single day he's got to sing that. He's got to sing it.
So when you heard it, it made you feel good?
Yes, it did. It did.
Fantastic. You know what's coming next, don't you?
No, I'm not going to sing it for you.
We wish you a reggae Christmas.
We wish you a reggae Christmas and a reggae New Year.
Morning, folks.
All together now.
We wish you a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae Christmas and a reggae New Year.
There you go, it's going down a treat on the streets.
Great
People
work,
love it.
Just. Great work.
Thank you.
Listen, we were thinking today... Black Friday.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this Black Friday?
Yeah, I'm excited, actually.
Sorry? I wasn't expecting those words to come out.
I'm really excited. At 9 o'clock today, when I'm finished on the programme, I'm going to be rushing off down to the shops. I'm looking for those Brucey bargains.
Really?
Yeah,
Are you going to queue up to go in shops you can go in without queuing up in normally?
But then again...
There's your question for the streets.
If you're not queuing, let's just say you go to the shops on Tuesday, yes, you won't be queuing, but you won't be getting the sort of discounts. Some places offering up to 75% off today. I think it's brilliant. I really do, genuinely.
But are they really offering up to 75% off? Let me finish the question. Don't do an Andrew. Or Is it all smoke and mirrors?
No. I mean, for example, my favourite shop that I go to in London, this weekend, absolutely everything in that shop has got 20% off. So why am I going to go online on Tuesday and spend more when I can go there this weekend and get it for 20% less? It makes sense.
Because you won't have to fight with people. I hate the atmosphere in those shops when you've got an armful of stuff you don't really want but you feel compelled to buy because it's cheaper. Hang on, you're spending probably more money than you would have if you hadn't gone in.
You're talking about the sales. Now, the sales, they are trying to shift all the junk they've got. You know, you can't blame them for that. Some people go in there.
You have bought into this mythology.
No, I have, but I just think if you're going to go into a shop and it's not going to be a sale, but everything in that shop has got 20 or 30% off. What a great time to buy your presents. It's brilliant.
Wow. Just, can you take it to the streets?
I'll take it to the streets. Plus, I've already taken the school attendance story to the streets. 7:20. You will be amazed by what people are saying.
Justin, excellent stuff, thank you. This is a story about a school where they're offering incentives for kids to go, including the chance to win a bike, extra playtime, stuff, which I think is a great idea. I remember getting a little notepad because I had something like 96% attendance at
that's fair enough, but maybe a bike is a bit bit much. I don't know.
Oh, blimey.
No, I tend to think... I didn't like the idea. I don't like the idea of bribing kids to go to school.
It's not a bribe, it's an incentive.
Kind of
There's
is.
a difference.
Oh,
no,
it kind of is.
No, it's kind of not, mate.
But if these kids are not going to be feel that they want to go to school for any other reason than to get a new bike, oh well, at least their bums are on seats.
Half of children aged 11 have never even caught a bus.
I could believe that.
OK. The chickens are rotten. Don't eat the chickens. They're all poisonous.
Well, we know this, don't we? Just cook it properly.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Supermarkets named and shamed over bug found in 7 in 10 chickens. Shoppers are being urged to boycott supermarket chicken after a report showed alarming numbers are contaminated with a potentially lethal bug.
Can you not cook it out?
7 out of 10 fresh chickens are carrying Campylobacter on the skin.
Campylobacter. Yeah. Cook it.
The bug is responsible for an estimated 280,000 cases of food poisoning each year and as many as 100 deaths. Asda came out worst.
Yeah, but hang on.
Co-op came out second. Sorry?
If you cook it properly, it dies, doesn't it?
Tim Lang, the Professor of Food Policy at City University London, went further and advised families to boycott chicken till the industry can guarantee the meat is safe. He compared the public health crisis to mad cow disease and salmonella. This is on the packaging as well as on the food, I think, isn't it? I've only just started eating meat. I'm tempted to become a vegetarian again.
Just cook your chicken properly.
I don't know how to cook a chicken. I had some chicken last night and it was delicious. Whether it had a bug or not. How we can tackle the crisis.
Cook it properly.
Cover raw chicken and store it at the bottom of the fridge. Don't wash raw chicken. Cook your chicken until it's hot all the way through.
Yeah. Why don't you ever listen to me?
Sorry, boss.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are some problems on the trains this morning. East Coast services have hour-long delays between London King's Cross and Leeds, Newcastle and Edinburgh. So if you get on at Stevenage at the moment, that's affecting northbound services after Peterborough. Are they looking at the departure boards? It's not affecting services into London at the moment. Having a look also on the departure boards, and the 7:44 service from Bedford to Sutton has been cancelled. And on the Abellio Greater Anglia services, there are 10-minute delays between Bishop Stortford and Cambridge because of a problem at a level crossing. Having a look at the roads on the motorways, the M1 southbound is slow between junction 11 and 10. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
We wish you a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae Christmas. We wish you a reggae Christmas and a reggae New Year.
And we really, really do wish you a reggae Christmas.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: criticism from family after man attacked at Milton Keynes prison. Police called to deal with Black Friday rush. And should Luton School reward pupils for turning up?
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The family of a man who was attacked in Wood Hill Prison in Milton Keynes have criticised the prison service for failing to treat him quickly enough. The 27-year-old man from High Wycombe, who has not been identified, underwent emergency brain surgery following the incident last Thursday and is still in an induced coma. The man's sister has described the impact it's had on the family.
We're completely grief-stricken and our life has just been put on, the pause button has been pressed, and we're just trying to cope with everything one at a time. But the thing that annoys and upsets me the most is that I'm the one who's ringing up the prison. I'm the one who's ringing up the police. I'm the one who's trying to get support from outside organisations. No one said, we're terribly sorry, ring these people up for support if you feel like you need counselling or anything like that.
And Thames Valley Police has confirmed it is investigating another unrelated assault at the prison yesterday, which also saw an inmate taken to hospital. Police have been called to deal with crowds at supermarkets in London and Manchester who are offering discounts on what's known in America as Black Friday. Increasing numbers of British stores are adopting the practice of making special offers to kickstart the Christmas shopping season. Visa Europe predicts more than £500 million will be spent on its cards alone. Natalie Berg is a retail analyst.
This is the most important time of the year for retailers. We're in peak trading period. We've had a very slow start to the season in that the weather hasn't been on retailers' side. So fashion retailers are also looking to take part in Black Friday, with some names like House of Fraser and M&S taking part for the first time this year.
David Cameron will use his long-awaited speech on immigration this morning to announce new restrictions on welfare payments for EU migrants, but he's expected to stop short of suggesting a limit on the number of people coming to the UK. A boat has been badly damaged by fire in Milton Keynes overnight. 14 firefighters were called to Oversley Court in Gifford Park by the Grand Union Canal just before 10:30 last night. The water rescue unit from Newport Pagnell also attended, but no one was injured. The Chief Medical Officer is urging parents to ensure toddlers receive the flu vaccine to protect elderly or frail relatives. All 2, 3 and 4-year-olds are now eligible. A school in Luton is defending its scheme to give pupils the chance to win a bike or a scooter in a bid to boost attendance. Whitefield Primary School in the Marsh Farm area of the town says it's already seen an increase. These people in Luton aren't convinced.
Well, I'm paying for them to go to school via my taxi, so I don't see why I should pay them any more.
I think it's a bit wrong because they shouldn't really have to give things for children to go to school.
In sport, former Watford manager Billy McKinlay has been appointed as David Moyes' assistant at Real Sociedad in Spain. McKinlay was only in charge at Watford for 8 days back in September. And cricket officials in Australia say no decision has been made about next week's test against India following the death of Philip Hughes. England are due to resume their one-day series in Sri Lanka tomorrow. The weather, sunshine and showers today. Top temperature around about 10 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Today on BBC Three Counties Radio.
From 9.
The JVS Show.
With the big phone in, the hottest topic of the day, and your consumer problems. From 12.
Nick Coffer.
With Duncan Dyerson, who spends 9 months of his year in Guatemala, then comes back to Amersham to raise funds for his work in the South American country.
From 3.
Roberto Perroni.
The best stories as they happen every single afternoon, and the greatest talking points.
From 7.
Mark Forrest.
I'll bring you the best bits from everything that's been happening on BBC Local Radio.
Today on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm at my wit's end! Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Well, what's happening on the show? I've had an argument with a caller. Fun times. I've banned a caller. It's the same caller. Here's an idea, guys. You don't like the show, don't listen. Very simple. And unfortunately, Catherine, you don't like the show, but you're contractually obliged to listen.
Yeah.
But you do have a little caveat that you can watch Good Morning, This is Britain.
Yeah, and they're talking about the Black Friday sales.
I don't get the Black Friday. This is the first I've ever heard of it.
I don't want stuff that much.
What? Oh, does this mean we're losing the great British tradition of the Boxing Day sales? Another thing I would never ever consider going to?
Yeah, and those fights the day after Christmas are not going to be nearly as good, are they? This is taking the wind out of the sails. It's tradition gone bonkers because of Americans.
The tradition is we fight, we jostle, and sometimes we kick each other in the ghoulies on Boxing Day, not on some random Friday after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving? What the hell is that about? Could everyone in America stop wishing me a Thanksgiving? One thing I'm grateful for is the fact we don't have Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Anyway, what's on the show this morning, Kath?
Prisoner on prisoner violence. Pupils win prizes for attendance.
Oh.
And a Bedfordshire family celebrates independence.
08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
I think we'll go to this school story later on, but basically, is it a primary school?
Yes.
Okay, so it's kids are being incentivised to go to school. Now,
I think they're bribing the wrong people. They should be bribing the parents.
Well, you know, the incentive should be, hey, you get an education and you get prospects. But I don't think there's a problem with this. Basically, if you get the better your attendance, you win a raffle ticket for a bike, you get extra time in playtime, stuff like that. I think that's a brilliant idea.
And remember, we're talking about primary school children. They don't really understand long-term goals at that age, do they? They need to see quick results.
My boy loves going to school, OK? He loves going to school because he's made to feel part of that school. He's encouraged. He enjoys it. And he's 4. He'll be 5 in January. You can do that to kids. You can incentivise kids. He has an incentive to go because he loves it, because he enjoys the things he does there. There's not bribes going on there, but some kids don't have that incentive. I like to think that my boy likes going to school partly because of my wife and I and the attitude that we've instilled in him. Not all kids get that from their parents. 08459 455 555. I genuinely think this is a cracking idea. Give us your thoughts on this, please. Not all kids are incentivised to go to school by their parents. I like to think that part of the reason that my eldest loves school, he's got great teachers, but it comes from my wife and I. We encourage him to go. We praise him when he does well. When he comes, he came home and read a story to me last night. Flippin' heck, I'll have some of that.
You're right, but not everyone, sees the point of making learning fun at home first, and that's where it starts, isn't it?
08459 455 555. There's kind of a split here. Those people that think incentivising kids with what could be perceived as bribes is a bad idea, whereas I think, do you know what? It's a nice little trick, and if it works, well done. If it gets one kid excited about the prospect of going to school, then, yeah, go on, that works.
And I guess if it gets one kid to pester his mum who can't be bothered to take him to school that day, because he says, oh, Mum, I really want to go because I might win a bike... Pester power away in that case is being harnessed for the good of the child, isn't it? I said something earlier on, and as I was saying it made me slightly uncomfortable, and I kind of need to express why it made me uncomfortable. I said this is a primary school in Marsh Farm. Now, Marsh Farm is not a particularly wealthy area. I think it's quite a poor area. Yeah. And I kind of said that some of these parents wouldn't necessarily be encouraging their kids to go to school. That sounds quite snobbish. I wonder if it's true. As I said it, I thought, well, that makes me sound really like a snob because I'm a middle-class bloke and I live in quite a well-to-do area. I'm doing all right. But yeah, I grew up on a council estate and my mum encouraged me to go to school, so maybe that was slightly unfair. I don't know. Well, some parents see that they're at a disadvantage maybe and think, right, we're going to get out of it the right way, and they do encourage their children into education. Some other people have given up already on themselves, so they won't really push their kids. Your thoughts on that, please? 08459 455 555. First of all, we can look at the concept of giving children the opportunity to win things if they go to school. Does that sound like a good idea? And secondly, does it make a difference that it's kind of in a poorer area? 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You can text as well, 81333. Start your text 3 here. Now, the family of the inmate left with life-threatening injuries after being attacked at Wood Hill Prison last week is demanding a full investigation. The 27-year-old man from High Wycombe is in a medically induced coma after undergoing emergency brain surgery. Well, our reporter, Toby Friedner, has been talking to the man's sister, Umi. The prison rang at home and asked to speak to my mum, and all they said was, we're calling to let you know that your son's in hospital, and they couldn't give us any more details and just told us to make our way there straight away. My mum dropped the phone because she was just completely in shock. So I took the phone on and said, "I'm his sister.
what's happened, and they said, well, I can't tell you anything. All we know that he's been assaulted. You need to make your way there. And I said, what do you mean? What happened? What was he stabbed, or what's going on? And she said, we don't know what his injuries are. All we know is that he needs severe enough that he needs an operation, so you need to go there. We went there, and then they told us that he was still in theatre, and no one knew what type of operation it was, and they wouldn't tell us how long he'd been in there. It was just sit here, wait, and someone will be with you when they've got any information. 3 hours later, someone came and spoke to us.
And for that 3 hour wait, how were you feeling?
Awful. It was the worst. It's indescribable, the not knowing, the waiting. It was terrible. Wouldn't wish it upon anyone.
And nobody gave you any information during that period?
No.
When somebody did eventually speak to you, who was it?
It was the surgeons and a senior consultant, and I think they had a nurse with them as well. And it was him that told us that it was a brain injury, and he's been on the operating table for 4 hours. They're not expecting him for another hour, and they said, we don't know if he's going to make it, so I would get your family together and pray.
So at that point you were prepared for him to die?
Yes, yeah.
So what is it that frustrates you most then about the situation?
The lack of information. There were a lot of questions that we want to know about the treatment that he received. There seems to be a delay between when the incident happened and when he received the right medical attention. It happened around 3. We never got the call till 6:30. He went into the theatre around that time. So there seems to be a 3 hour gap where we've had no communication, and it doesn't take that long for emergency services to respond. So that all we can assume is that they didn't report what had happened, because I think they didn't. What they've told us, they didn't deem the injury to be serious enough, even though he'd been hit on the head.
And what impact has it had on you personally?
It's really hard to even talk about it, really, but I have a young baby, so I have to be strong for her, and that's my main priority at the moment. But I'm also having to be there for my family, my mum as well. But yeah, we're completely grief-stricken, and our life has just been put on the pause button has been pressed, and we're just trying to cope with everything one at a time. But the thing that annoys and upsets me the most is that I'm the one who's ringing up the prison. I'm the one who's ringing up the police. I'm the one who's trying to get support from outside organisations. No one said, we're terribly sorry, ring these people up for support if you feel like you need counselling or anything like that, or here's some information that we have for you. I've had to ring around in between visiting hours, and it's not on. They should have been letting us know.
How is he now?
His condition hasn't changed. He's still his injuries are still life-threatening. They haven't been able to bring him round, so we're just hopeful and waiting.
So what's your message to the Ministry of Justice, the prison service?
We want a full investigation. We want to know what happened, how they allowed it to happen, what the motivation behind it is. All these, what type of safeguarding. Obviously, it's failed. The safeguarding's failed. It all needs to be reviewed.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning.
Morning.
What did you just say, Kels? You're such a plum. Go on.
I accidentally locked myself out, so I had to climb over a reception, which I loved.
Yeah, it's always fun to do.
Might do from now on.
Always, even if Jan's there.
And I came in and said to Kat, just climbed over a reception. Feel like MFI. Well, I obviously meant.
What did you obviously mean?
SCS. She's in the SCS.
MI5.
DFS. Sofa World.
MI5.
Okay.
Easy mistake to make. I'm surprised that MFI isn't filled with spies going to the wrong place.
That's the first question when you go for the MI5.
SCS isn't filled with really double hard soldiers.
Yeah. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you wish to give us a call, and berate Kelly Betts for being a massive plum.
Thanks, mate.
You're very, very welcome. Is anybody so this Black Friday, it's happening today. It's Friday. It's Black Friday today. People are queuing outside like Lidl and stuff now.
I don't know whether Lidl's doing any deals for Black Friday. Their prices are normally quite reasonable.
They're very good prices, yeah.
And comparable to some of the other shops. But some people are queuing up to buy things that they might not have queued up for yesterday because there's 30 quid off. Here's something from Berkhamsted.
Yes.
Tony from Chertsey, now near Berkhamsted. He's on the Grand Union Canal in a boat.
Hey,
I believe. Black Friday is, as you alluded to, a capitalist trap designed to control us with another myth.
Yeah.
Similar, here we go,
Yeah.
this is where it gets controversial. Similar to Christmas, democracy, royalty, honest politicians, and David Cameron or any of them being one of us.
Hey, guys. Tony, a controversial Black Friday statement there. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are some problems on the trains this morning. East Coast have hour-long delays on services between London, King's Cross and Leeds, Newcastle and Edinburgh. So if you get on at Stevenage, that's affecting northbound services after Peterborough, but not affecting services into London at the moment. The delays are expected through the rest of the day, though. On the Bellier Greater Anglia services, there are 10-minute delays between Bishop Stortford and Cambridge because of a level crossing failure. And having a look at the departure boards, the service at 7:44 from Bedding to Sutton is cancelled. On the motorways, the M1 southbound is reports that it's very slow between junction 11 for Dunstable Road and 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road, and the M25 anti-clockwise is very heavy around junction 16 for the M40. And having a look at the North Circular Road, that's queuing in both directions from the A40 around to the A10. That's Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed, Lee Doodley. 7:16. It's Black Friday, the 28th of November. I'm Iain Lee, and what the hell are you two idiots doing next door, for goodness sakes?
Coronation Street's on the telly, so I'm going, been there, been there, been there, been there. Deb's shop.
These are your news headlines. The family of a man who was attacked in Wood Hill Prison in Milton Keynes have criticised the prison service for failing to treat him quickly enough. Police have been called to supermarkets overnight after disturbances as shoppers queued for Black Friday bargains. And a school in Luton is defending its scheme to give pupils the chance to win a bike or a scooter in a bid to boost attendance.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm at my wit's end.
Every weekday morning.
You can book your place on the show now.
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
Come on and get some help, get some assistance.
Tackling your consumer problems.
They couldn't trace an account in any of the names or any of the addresses that were given.
For it to be running for 6 weeks and then for them to cut it all off again just doesn't make any sense.
The JVS show fights for your rights.
He came to me and asked if I could go and have a word with said bank.
I had an email from the bank to say that you'd been in touch with them, and the senior customs relations manager was most apologetic.
Thankfully, you managed to get your money back.
Yep, but that was due to, obviously, your station itself.
The JVS show. Weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555. So people are, I'm so confused by this Black Friday thing. So people queue overnight. It's one of those things where when they release a new iPod or something ridiculous like that, you'll get people of a certain nature will queue outside the Apple store on Regent Street for like 6-7 days, won't they? They'll do that.
Yeah, people queue outside Next, don't they, for their sales? I never get that.
They queue outside Next? It's just Next. Next you'd be saying people queue outside Topshop. For what? What are you saving? 15, 20 quid? I mean, yeah, all right. Saying that, I bought a microwave yesterday, and I noticed the one I wanted, there was a returned one that was 30 quid cheaper. Well, of course I went for that. Took it out of the box, it looked all right. Wasn't scratched or anything. Yeah, I'll have some of that. But the Black Friday sales, I just don't get it. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You'll be more than welcome to. You can also email me if you want, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. Oh, and I should just say that we're pretty much doing shows over Christmas. I think I've got Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day off. But I think I'm here New Year's. Is New Year's Day a weekday? I'll be here for all of that rubbish. So, if you're in a band and you want to come in and play for us, then do. But I don't just want, like, you know... It's you and your three mates and you write songs about girls and stuff. I want something quirky and something different, like if you're a ukulele band or you're a brass band or you're a string quartet or you're a Beatles tribute band or you play songs back. If you do something a bit different, then you're more than welcome to come in and hang out. And we will have a day, I don't know what day it'll be yet, but we will have a day over Christmas where we have an open door policy, and if you want to come in and hang out with us during the show, you'll be more than welcome to. A little on-air Christmas party. How's about that? Details to follow. Now, a Luton primary school is offering the chance to win a bike to encourage better attendance. Whitefield Primary School in Marsh Farm has organised a yearly raffle with tickets going to the kids who appear most on the register. They say it's already having an impact on daily turnout. Well, Justin Dealey has been asking people in Luton if these incentives should actually be offered.
It's wrong, to be honest. It wasn't there when I was at school, so I don't think it should be around now. So,
you don't think, though, for children who can't be bothered to stand up to school, this might get them through the gates?
No. They've got other interests outside of school, clearly. You know, if they don't want to learn, they're not going to learn. But I blame the parents, personally. That's where it all comes back to, is the parenting.
Richard, when you went to school, did you ever bunk off?
Oh, yeah, a couple of times. I wouldn't even lie to you.
And what about your friends?
Yes, a few days we did bunk off, just, go chill sometimes. Just
go and chill sometimes?
Yeah, just do what boys do, innit?
Right, well, OK. Let me ask you this then. As somebody who's bunked off and somebody who knew a lot of people who didn't turn up to school, if there was an incentive there for you, would that have made you go to school instead of bunking off and chilling, as you put it?
Nope. It wouldn't really have, changed anything, really, because even, at college, they used to give the EMA, but then people still used to bunk off as well. That was like an incentive for you to come to school. They give you £30 every week. At the end of the week, if you come for your whole lessons, but still, some people still bunked off.
Okay, so based on your experience, these incentives won't make any difference?
It's just spoiling the system, because they get used to it to an extent where they can't really turn back. And then the kids start saying, if you don't give us these, we're not going to go to school, and then it's going to cause a lot of problems for the government.
Now, John, when you was at school, you used to bunk off. So if there was an incentive there for you when you went to school, i.e. this raffle we're talking about this morning, would that have got you to actually turn up then?
Of course it would. Of course it would. It's got to be worth it.
Well, your thoughts on this, please. 08459 455 555. Joined now by Dr. Sandy Mann, who's a psychologist at the University of Central Lancashire and lead on the school engagement project Your Future, Your Life. Morning, Sandy.
Good morning.
Are you a fan of these schemes?
No, not really, I'm afraid.
Tell me why.
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of schools do have them, and they do work on a temporary basis because kids do want the prizes. The problem is that they don't actually change the way kids feel about school. So they only work as long as you've got the rewards. And in fact, they can have the opposite effect, because they teach kids that they only are going to be motivated to go to school for the reward. So they get an external motivation, not an internal motivation to go to school. So what our project, Your Future, Your Life, does, which is funded by the Paul Hamlin Foundation, is that we try and give the kids internal motivation.
So how do you do that? What kind of things do you do?
Well, we work on a number of modules. It's a peer-led project, so we train up young people to train other young people, to give them internal motivation. So we look at things like the reasons why they're not going to school. We look at the whole person. We look at whether they're bored, whether they're lacking motivation, whether they have aspirations. Some of these kids, and we go to some quite deprived areas, and some of them have no role models in the community of adults, perhaps adult males who actually work. So we look at their aspirations, we look at their learning styles, and we try and change the way they feel about their future. That's why it's called Your Future, Your Life. Rather than just say, go to school and you'll get an immediate reward, we look at the long-term reward, the long-term future.
Could these two kind of ideas not work hand in hand? Because, of course, I can completely see the benefits of yours. But I remember 35 years ago, blimey, I got a little notepad. I remember a day in primary school where those with the best attendance were allowed to go up and choose a prize, and I chose a tiny little notepad, and I remember feeling really proud and thinking, oh, hang on a second, I'm being rewarded for something here. So could the two not go together?
Well, we give rewards for attending our programme, but small things, exactly like you're saying, so certificates. And actually what kids really seem to like is badges and pin badges, you know.
Oh, kids love badges, don't they?
Yeah, so we have those sorts of very small rewards for taking part in the programme. But as far as rewarding people for going to school, we want them to have their own reward. We want them to feel good about it and to see the effect in the results and to know it's going to affect their future.
The school obviously have a big part to play in that by encouraging and exciting the kids, but the parents do as well. And if the parents are demotivated and were uninspired by school and their lives have not quite planned out as they wanted them to, their dreams have been crushed, to put it in a kind of romantic way, then they're going to pass that down to their kids, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, this is a big factor, and we do try and work with the families and the community because, as I say, a lot of these kids don't have the role models. A lot of the kids don't actually see any connection between school attendance and their future and doing well because they haven't got the role models and the parents don't encourage it. Not all. That's not to say that everybody in deprived areas is like that. Some of the parents are fantastically encouraging. But for those who don't have that, we need to try and reconnect what they're doing at school with their future and help them to see the point of it and the benefit of it, and give them that internal feeling of satisfaction rather than just saying, well, you get, you could get an iPod because, that's very nice, but when they don't get the iPod, then they get discouraged.
You talk about the lack of male role models. About 6 years ago, when I was hacked off with this whole ridiculous business, I went to look at being a primary school teacher, and I was embraced almost literally and welcomed with open arms because there aren't that many blokes as primary school teachers, are there?
That's true, and that is an issue. And I think the male role models is a big factor. There's not that many role models in school. A lot of kids don't have the role models outside of school in certain areas, in certain communities, and it would be very beneficial for them to have that male role model. So go back and teach them.
Well, but maybe, listen, when this gravy train falls off its biscuit wheels, then maybe I will do. Sandy, thank you very much. Dr. Sandy Mann, lead on the school engagement project Your Future, Your Life.
I think you'd be a good teacher.
I'd be a brilliant teacher, and I was well up for it. I went and I had meetings, and I went and sat in a primary school one day and helped out. I loved it.
Did you see that teacher who's banned the word banter in the classroom has left
banned
by mutual consent?
The old mutual... Yeah, I left Absolute Radio by mutual consent.
That means we're sacking you, but we won't embarrass you by saying it out loud.
You're allowed to say that it's by mutual consent, but you're fired.
We've got some text on this one. This is anonymous for obvious reasons. I previously worked at a high school, and if they had a 100% attendance, they went into a draw for an iPod.
Wow.
They also got paid if they achieved a C in maths.
Whoa!
Owed so much money.
Yeah.
For their team on a weekly basis. The school was in a poor area, but it gave the students the incentive to achieve. Results are now the best ever, and unfortunately, this is how the kids of today work. However, for some, it pays for food for themselves.
Wow, blimey. Kevin, you're in St Neots. You want to talk about Black Friday?
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, what a bottler. I'm sure it wasn't a bar. I'm sure it was a Kevin.
Hang on, let me ring him back.
Naughty.
He's been up all night, apparently, so maybe his finger slipped.
What, for Black... Sorry? Well, I think all our fingers have slipped at some point, haven't they? For Black Fridays.
Yeah.
Does he... What, he's been outside a shop queuing?
Stay on the line.
Oh, here we go.
He's there.
Kevin!
Yeah.
Kevin, you've been up all night, have you?
No, his niece.
No, my niece was, and she tried to get onto the Tesco's website, but it was pretty down by so many people trying to use it.
So hang on, you can do Black Friday online?
Yeah.
Flippin' heck.
Or can you?
Oh, can you?
Here's my conspiracy theory.
Yeah, go on.
Brilliant bargains. Gosh, they would lose loads of money, wouldn't they, if everyone just bought them online?
So what? I don't understand.
So we make the website crash?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What was she after, Kev?
She want... Well, my stepdaughter and her want a big TV, and they had some on offer at quite good prices, actually.
Well, how much cheaper were they?
You're talking £100, roughly.
Blimey, well, I mean, it's and has it worked? Have they got their TVs?
I don't know as yet. They've had to go to Asda.
Kevin, could you let us know if it works and if they get their bargains thereafter?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Either give us a call or a little text, okay, and let us know what happens. Thank you. The thing is, isn't it that you get a TV for tuppence, but there's two of them.
Exactly. And the other thing is this. TV is something that should last a long time, so you should think about it, do your research, buy the one you can afford, but the one that's going to do the job for you.
All right, Jonathan Vernon Smith.
This is what I would do. Rather than, quick, get it, it's 30 quid.
Well, but then they could sell that on for a profit. Cheeky little prof.
Oh, hang on.
So
I'm thinking about this all wrong.
Exactly. 08459 455 555. How has Black Friday touched your lives?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the trains, East Coast have hour-long delays between London King's Cross and Leeds, Newcastle and Edinburgh. So if you're getting on at Stevenage at the moment, that's affecting northbound services north of Peterborough and not affecting services into London, looking at the departure boards. On the departure boards, the 7:44 service between Bedford and Sutton has been cancelled. And on the Abellio Greater Anglia services between Bishop Stortford and Cambridge, they are back up and running again after the level crossing failure earlier on. Checking the motorways, the M25 anti-clockwise is very heavy at the moment around junction 16 for the M40. The M4 is moving well at the moment, but on the North Circular Road, that's queuing westbound in both directions between the A40 and the A10. Elsewhere in Wendover on London Road, it's moving well through those roadworks at Chesham Lane, and in St Albans, expect it to be extra busy today with the Christmas market at St Albans Cathedral. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The family of a man who was attacked in Woodhill Prison in Milton Keynes have criticised the prison service for failing to treat him quickly enough. Police have been called to supermarkets overnight after disturbances as shoppers queued for Black Friday bargains. David Cameron will use his long-awaited speech on immigration this morning to announce new restrictions on welfare payments for EU migrants. And a school in Luton is defending its scheme to give pupils the chance to win a bike or a scooter in a bid to boost attendance.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Former Watford manager Billy McKinlay has been appointed as David Moyes' assistant at Real Sociedad in Spain. McKinlay was only in charge at Watford for 8 days back in September. The Hornets host Cardiff tomorrow in the Championship with keeper Aurelio Gomez again a fitness doubt. In League One, Milton Keynes Dons welcome back centre-half Carl McFadzean after suspension at home to Colchester, but skipper Dean Lewington is still ruled out with injury. League Two leaders Wickham make the long trip to Hartlepool. Third place Luton host managerless Mansfield without suspended centre-half Luke Wilkinson. Hatters boss John Still says the visiting players should take responsibility.
If I left here tomorrow, this lot could manage themselves. Everyone knows their job. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone knows what we do in training. Everyone knows the level of importance that we place on certain things.
And Luton striker Alex Wall has joined Bristol Rovers on loan. Meanwhile, Stevenage have signed Rovers striker Ryan Brunt ahead of tomorrow's home game with Morecambe. The Borough have also extended the loan of Southend frontman Lee Barnard. Everton and Tottenham are both through to the knockout stages of the Europa League. Everton won 2-0 away to Wolfsburg. Spurs beat Partizan Belgrade 1-0. Cricket officials in Australia say no decision has been made about next week's test against India following the death of Philip Hughes. England are due to resume their one-day series in Sri Lanka tomorrow. Former England captain Michael Vaughan is against changing the rules in the wake of Hughes' death.
The day that someone says that the bouncer rule has to stop, anyone can play. That's the difference between playing cricket that's not of a great standard to playing at the highest level. This is a freak incident, and if we're saying that the bouncer has to go, I'm afraid that's the end of Test match cricket.
Bedford Rugby Club host Doncaster this evening in the British and Irish Cup, aiming to bounce back from Sunday's league thrashing at the Cornish Pirates. Kick-off at Goldington Road is at 7:45. And Formula One bosses have agreed to ditch the controversial final race double point scheme for next season. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Get out of the butchers.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I wish you a reggae Christmas. I wish you a reggae Christmas. I wish you a reggae Christmas and a happy new year.
And we all wish you a reggae Christmas.
And a reggae New Year.
And a reggae New Year. I know Peter was reluctant to indulge in a reggae New Year. You started Christmas, you might as well go all the way through.
Yeah, man.
All the way. I hate, not reggae, I hate New Year. I love Christmas. Not looking forward to it this year.
You know why I hate it?
Go on.
Enforced jollity.
Yeah. This is why I think what day of the week is it this year?
I don't know, I'm going to bed early.
Be the first. But what weekday is it?
The 31st. Div.
Well, no, New Year's Day is the first, mate.
Yeah, New Year's Day is when it's all happened.
Yeah, New Year's is the first. Midnight.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right, but you set off
Thank you.
a few hours before.
Anyway. I
don't set off. I'm going to put my pyjamas on. I'm not going to watch anything new.
What day of the week is the 1st of January? Because I think I'm working it.
I'll tell you, hang on.
I'm working it, baby.
I'm just getting my calendar. That's Peter and Walmer Green ring, and it's fine. It's fine.
He wants to have a whinge about something.
He wants to wish us a reggae Christmas.
Tuesday.
Well, I'll be working on New Year's Day.
Oh, me too. Are you working here?
Yeah, I'm doing the breakfast show.
Oh, no.
Well, what show are you doing?
I'm working with Sophie and Yasmin.
I think I'm doing it. I don't know.
I don't think there is a breakfast show.
Well, what am I... Well...
I think I'm off, anyway.
Well, hang on a minute.
There's no breakfast show without Kath. Well,
No, party don't start till I walk in.
Well, I better be getting... I better be getting paid. Good morning. Let's have this conversation off air. Steve!
Hello, morning.
Good morning, Stephen.
Hello.
Good morning, Stephen. What can we do for you?
About the school in Marsh Farm.
Yes, boss.
Back in the day, you used to get the cane or the slipper, or you got suspended.
You never
not not given presents to attend the school.
You never got
you
the
was
cane.
drilled, didn't you?
You never got
yeah,
the
I got the cane. Of course I did a few times. You seem to back up your ideas, mate, I'll tell you.
How old are you, Steve?
48.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am.
I thought you were younger than that.
No, well, I'll take that as a compliment off of you.
Well, you should, well, in many ways it is, but you should also take it as an insult because you're actually really old. Yeah.
I'm not really old. I'm 48. That ain't old.
Yes, it is. It's ancient.
No, it ain't.
Of course it...
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. Anyway,
yes,
shut
it
up.
is.
We're talking about school.
Yes, boss.
Yeah, well, back in the day, you got you
slipper or the
suspended the child. Yeah, we suspended the child. And
so
the child
I know what.
Dumped on the parent.
I know what.
Out.
So if the kid doesn't turn up at school, let's exclude them from school. That doesn't make sense.
I can add to that.
But listen, what if it would have come
a lady's talking. Stephen, a lady's talking.
Hang on, Steve. Here's the other part of that is if the kid's not going to school because their parents aren't interested, don't let them go to school and their parents won't care.
Well, surely we should
saying.
vet. Yeah, but obviously we should vet people before they have kids because people of today, parents of today, or whatever parents, they're not very good at their job and they shouldn't be allowed kids because we're creating a society of unruly, bad-mannered people.
Unruly children?
Well, rude children, sorry, not unruly.
What are you listening to in the background?
Don't know. I'm talking to you.
Well, but why have you got something on in the background?
Because you were a bit boring at times, I have to listen to something else.
Thank you very much indeed, Steve.
Wow.
Deary me.
Steve, are they looking for...
Talk about unrudely.
They're so unrudely, these guys. We can't hit kids because they... Hey, right, you don't go to school, let's hit a child. No, because we can't hit kids.
That will encourage them to come to school.
And you don't go to school, so what we're going to do is we're going to ban you from coming to school. Can you see the flaw in the system there? Roy, can you call back? Because Kelly's a plum.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's the third time this year you've taken down someone's number wrong. One more time and I'll have to have a...
Actually, that was me.
Boy... Oh, no.
Hello?
Not Dennis in Dun... I can hear his northern whine.
Yeah, he's got a really nice story about when he
I bet he hasn't. I bet he hasn't. And it will sound all echoey when we go to his line. You ready?
He can hear you now.
He can't hear me. He ain't got a clue. He doesn't know what's going on. There's the echo. Yes, Dennis?
Good morning, Ian.
Guten Morgen, mein Herr.
Don't be rude about my telephone.
Guten Morgen, mein Herr.
Right.
Yeah?
Things... Giving kids something to school.
By the way, on Monday's show,
yes?
Can we play Noel Coward, Don't Let's Be Beastly to the Germans?
If you like, why not?
Because it's a great record.
Yeah.
It's a great record. Might be slightly racist.
Anyway, getting kids...
Oh, Dennis, put a cork up there.
No,
We can hear you squeaking, Dennis.
I know it's the chair, sorry.
It's not the chair.
Leave Dennis alone and let him finish his sentence.
And let's get rid of him, because his blooming echoey phone does my... I'm getting a migraine already, and this is making it worse.
Go on,
Dennis. Sure, I don't get an echo at this end, so it must be your phones that are wrong.
Yeah, oh yeah, because... Yeah, OK, it's our phones that are wrong.
However, in the distant past, when I was at school, we had a brilliant headmaster.
Oh, yeah.
What his idea for getting you to do things?
Yeah.
For instance, art class. He used to take an art class, drawing. Now, I was always
very good. Take a whole art class?
Art. Drawing.
Draw pictures, innit?
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, he used to take that class, and I was always very good at this, and he offered a penny for the best production in that class.
Best production.
And I could not understand why I wasn't getting it every time, because I was far better I must admit, I was far better.
Okay.
Then I suddenly realised this penny was going round the class slowly. It never went to the same person twice. And he, in the end, when it turned out, he was looking for you doing your best.
Yes.
And he gave her the penny. He did the other things as well, at playing cricket at lunchtime.
Yeah.
He used to put the stubs in, because we had a dirt playground, put the stumps in, put a penny on the top of each stump, and he took the bat and you bowled in, not with tennis balls, with a hard cricket ball. If you knocked the stumps down, that was your penny. But at the same time, he was a great wielder of the stick. When you get a thrashing from him, you realise you'd...
Dennis,
yes.
Say hello to Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Good morning, Dennis.
How are you?
Oh, I'm not too bad, thanks. You?
We're running the programme now, are we? Between?
Yeah. We might as well because, Nick Nog's there, you know what I mean?
OK, thank you so much for calling.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
OK, can someone... This is a serious point. I have to do an apology. If anyone was offended by the language that came out there, I apologise. Can someone... I don't think he knows what that means. Can someone explain to him what that means and why we can't say that on the radio? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he doesn't know what that means, because it's the second time.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. OK, right. Well, OK. Apologies if anyone's offended, but sometimes. Peter's in Walmer Green. Peter, what would you like to have a whinge about?
I just wanted to say the reindeer are ready. They're really excited about Christmas.
Yeah. Oh.
And the children have to be good for Santa to call.
Why are you threatening kids, Peter?
Can't stand still because he's so excited.
Why are you threatening children?
No,
hang on a second.
No, that's not very pleasant.
Hang on a second, Peter.
Yes.
Are you hinting that you have an alter ego, that Peter isn't actually your real name?
I've got an alter ego, that's true.
Are you FC?
Pardon?
FC?
No.
SC?
No, I'm
SN?
Peter.
Yeah, OK.
Are you
I've got an alter ego, but I'm Peter.
Are you Santa's little helper, Peter?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, so just give your message to the young people of Beds, Hearts and Bucks again.
Well, the reindeer are getting very excited. They're ready to go. The children have got to be good. And Prancer, we can't keep Prancer still because Prancer's really excited.
Peter, thank you very much. Only a little bit creepy there. Hey, Peter, would you like to sing the reggae Christmas song?
Oh, I'd love to. I wish you a reggae Christmas. I wish you a reggae Christmas. I wish you a reggae Christmas and a happy New Year.
There we go.
We had a letter from Father Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
We've had two. Well, I've got two children. They got a letter each.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little progress report and some tips on how to ensure they get more presents than stones this year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, stones.
Yeah.
Does Father Christmas give your kids stones?
Takes a present out and puts a stone in its place.
You are joking.
Mm-hmm.
That is awful. Bad parenting tips, please, guys. 08459 455 555.
He's threatened to make a name and shame T-shirt this time around because someone can't keep her finger out of her hooter.
What, for Kelly Betts?
When you say bad parenting tips, are you looking for tips
you're
on
talking
how
to
be
me.
a bad parent?
Just things that your parents do that are as bad as Catherine.
No, it's Father
Christmas, excuse me.
He's old-fashioned, he's old.
Father Christmas doesn't put stones in my boys' stockings.
No, but what he does, maybe, if he doesn't put stones in, is takes a present out for when they're naughty. They're never going to know that, but they would get more presents if they were good.
Bought a toy yesterday. Had a little bit of fun. Bought a toy. I was in John Lewis. Saw a toy. Their toys are quite cheap, £8. Well, I'll have this. It's a modern take on Jaws and Buckaroo. It's with a crocodile.
Oh, have you seen the bulldog one? Don't take Buster's bones.
No.
That's quite frightening.
OK, well, this was with a gentle crocodile.
Oh.
And me and my youngest spent...
Why? Why are you sugarcoating this? Get Buster.
I don't want to get Buster. I want to get... What?
Does that?
Do that again. You can't see the face, guys. Because she looks like she's got a bone in her mouth.
That's what he does. He pretends to be... he's asleep.
Did you practice that with a bone in your mouth?
So you have to take them out one by one with, tweezers. I don't know why tweezers. Use your fingers. And then...
Does it make the noise?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, it's frightening.
Oh, blimey.
And it waggles its head. There's a dog toy you can get now where the sole selling point, I think it's a foreign toy.
Farts?
No, it does a poo.
I've seen
the fart. Cacamax.
Can you have one for the office?
Cacamax. That's brilliant. Oh, it's worth getting for the name alone, isn't it?
I'm going to have a look to see the cost.
They're yellow, though.
What, the poos?
You put the yellow treats in and they come out. So, I don't think they're really being very... It's not a very good toy.
The one we saw it just blows off and belches.
Oh.
And my wife looked at it with disdain. She said, "Right, put that down. We're going." I was going, "Come on, boys, it's funny," and it was funny.
I don't like those toys.
It's $34.99.
Flipping it!
Saving £5 because Black Friday.
You might as well get a real dog.
And get this: the pooper scooper is optional.
So what is it made out of? Sorry, I'm opening my pint. I should do that later.
Plastic. No, the dog is actually like a teddy.
Yeah. But it's a robot thing. You can also get a game, again, in the Buckaroo style, where you have to keep pumping the dog's lead, and when it goes, then you...
Oh, for goodness sake, what a sick, perverted world we live in.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
If you're heading into London using the A1M, that's moving well at the moment looking at the speed sensors, but on the A1 Barnet bypass, it's partially blocked just after Stirling Corner, so it's making it quite slow past there. Elsewhere on the motorways, on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's looking quite slow around junction 16 for the M40. In Milton Keynes, Standing Way is moving well through the roadworks around the Kingston roundabout, but expect delays through there as it gets further into the morning rush. It's starting to look slow already on Standing Way between the Grafton Street and Saxon Street. Elsewhere in Roxton on the A1 Great North Road, there's the roadworks going on around the Black Cat roundabout. That's looking like it's moving well at the moment on the speed sensors, but that could also get very busy shortly. And on the trains, East Coast have hour-long delays between London, King's Cross and Leeds. So if you get on at Stevenage at the moment, it's fine towards London, but it's affecting services northbound after Peterborough. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
7:45. It's Friday, the 28th of November. It's Black Friday. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a man who was attacked in Wood Hill Prison in Milton Keynes have criticised the prison service for failing to treat him quickly enough. Police have been called to supermarkets overnight after disturbances as shoppers queued for Black Friday bargains. And a school in Luton is defending its scheme to give pupils the chance to win a bike or a scooter in a bid to boost attendance. I'm wondering, we're hearing police have been called to supermarkets overnight, right? Because of disturbances due to Black Friday. Why are there no pictures of these disturbances on Twitter? Why has nobody called in to say they were involved in these disturbances? Because maybe it's all just a hype.
If you know differently, call me now, 08459 455 555.
Thank you.
The reindeer are getting very excited. They're ready to go. The children have got to be good. And Prancer, we can't keep Prancer still because Prancer's really excited.
How terrifying is that? Let's get the weather.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Well, a bit of a gloomy start to the day, but it does improve somewhat. We may just get the odd spot of drizzle this morning, but we've got cloud starting to clear from the southeast. So the further west you are, it may be that you don't see blue skies till later on, or it may be that you don't get the chance before the sun sets. But certainly for many of us, it will brighten up. But we have got winds increasing as well. So a bit of an easterly breeze today. Temperatures reaching about 12, possibly 13 degrees Celsius, though, so still very warm for this time of year. And a mild night too, with lows between 8 and 10 degrees. Some clear spells, mostly dry, but maybe 1 or 2 showers around. And then lighter winds for tomorrow. Lots of sunny spells from fairly early on. And temperatures reaching about 11 or 12 degrees Celsius. Now Tuesday, though, it becomes cooler and more cloudy. And Monday, we've got a front pushing through, although by the time it gets to us, it's fairly weak. We may just see some rain from that. But it looks a bit more settled from Tuesday onwards. That's your latest forecast.
Just to remind you what we've learnt so far this morning, there is a toy called Kakamax.
Tomorrow, it's another action-packed afternoon for Three Counties Sport.
There is the third goal! More quick thinking from the Hornets!
There's 4 more live games for you to choose from.
Green gets the equaliser!
Watford versus Cardiff, MK Dons at home to Colchester, Luton against Mansfield.
Tucked in, and Luton Town have the lead!
And Stevenage taking on Morecambe.
And it's a dream start for Stevenage here at the Lamex.
Tomorrow from 2, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Should you wish to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. So we're hearing in the news, I'm reporting in the news that the police have been called to sort out scenes of trouble at Black Friday shopping ventures. But I've not seen any pictures. And I've not had anybody confirm this, so part of me thinks this is all, I don't know, bullshine.
Maybe they're still stuck in the scrums. Can't get their phones out. If that's you, give us a call, 08459 455 555. Here's something from Mark. I went on the Curry's website. Most people seem to be going online.
She said Curry's.
Yeah, I went on the Curry's website for Black Friday. Offers at 10 p.m. last night, but told I'd be in a queue until midnight.
Yeah.
I can wait. I thought, until I saw that I was number 525,000 in the queue.
Flippin' A!
We've also got this one.
Well, hang on. If he was on there last night, it's not Black Thursday. It's Black Friday.
He was probably on there at 12:01.
They started them queuing at midnight online.
Oh, for goodness sake.
We've also got a couple of texts through about this idea of incentivising school attendance.
Great idea.
It's
Love
happening at a primary school in Luton.
Yeah.
The children who get the most ticks on the register get put into a raffle and they can win a bike or £20 or a scooter. Now, Tony says, surely if the school curriculum was interesting, other incentives wouldn't be needed. I go with, I think, Robert Boyle, who said, the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled.
Kindles. How much are they on Black Friday?
Here's another one. It definitely makes them go to school. Has that professor, we spoke to earlier, been into a high school? If you were getting paid and you lived in a deprived area, this would mean everything. Come on, has this woman worked with modern-day students?
Yes. Now, last week we told you about a young man called Luke. He and his family had told us they were trapped living on a traveller site in Bedfordshire after the breakdown of the working relationship with the guy who owns it. Basically, Luke and his brother were refusing to work 12 hours for £20 and the landlord didn't like it. Well, Luke joins me now. Morning, Luke.
Morning.
You and your family were having a bit of a rough time on this, living on this traveller site, weren't you? What was going on?
Basically, we was getting bullied and intimidated to move off and, not paid to work and stuff like that.
And you were being threatened, weren't you?
Yeah.
And people were, we talk about Cacamacs, people were leaving, they were dumping outside your home, weren't they?
Yeah.
We spoke to Jim, the landlord, last week. He gave us a call live on air, and he suggested that you and your family have been abusive.
No, not at all.
So there's no truth in that at all?
Nah.
OK. Well, it was a thoroughly unpleasant situation. And you told us that for you to be moved off there by the council, you needed to get a 60-day notice. Jim said he was going to give you a 60-day notice. Did that happen?
Yeah, after a few more days of tormenting, he finally gave it.
That must have been quite a relief.
Yeah, it was.
How did your family feel when you got that 60-day notice?
A bit better, yeah, but we didn't think it would be so soon to move off there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So what's happening now?
Well, yesterday I went back there to unpack my stuff, to move out, pack it and move out. And I did have to call the police on him again because he was physically pushing me around the camper.
OK, so let's go back a second. So you've moved off the property already?
Yeah.
OK, well that's a turnaround. Before 60 days, what happened to get that move going?
I did go over to the council. I called the police. I had to call the police after the last radio show because he did come back up and he was being threatening worse at this time. And the police did actually have to go into the council themselves and complain to the council that it was in their best interest to move us off of there.
So you've been... Where are you living now then, Luke? We don't need to know the exact location. What kind of accommodation are you in?
I'm in a hotel at the moment.
OK. And they're going to find you a flat or a house, are they?
I've been given a 2-bedroom house. I don't get it till the beginning of December.
OK. And when you went back, you claimed that Jim was aggressive with you?
Yeah, I did call the police. When the police turned up, they ended up telling me and my brother to leave the site to let our girlfriends pack the stuff.
Right.
Because he was physically pushing us around the camper.
We did take a call, Luke, from someone who claimed to be your aunt.
Yeah.
Who kind of said that we didn't have the full story and that actually you were a little bit of a troublemaker. Does that make any sense?
No.
Have you got an aunt who would have made a phone call like that?
Nah.
OK. So you're in a hotel now, you're getting a place in December, so it's been a bit rough, but it looks like it's all working out.
Yeah.
Luke, listen, well done. Keep in touch, let us know how things go, OK?
OK, thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. We did asked Central Bedfordshire Council to come on the show, but they declined an invitation and didn't want to provide a statement because of its ongoing investigations.
More to that story, isn't there?
More to that story. Here's something exciting. I'm getting a migraine.
I can tell.
Yeah. Getting a little bit slurry. Sorry?
That's not exciting.
It's not exciting. It's bad.
What can we do to help? Do you want some water?
No.
Shall I massage your temples?
What? I haven't got temples.
These bits.
Is that what they're called?
Probably.
No, I'm going to go to my car during the news and I'm going to drive home. I'm not going to drive home. I'm going to get some pills and I'm going to take them and then I'm going to drive home. Sorry? Are we still doing this, are we?
Okay. Yeah, should we carry on just for like an hour and 5 minutes?
Let's do that.
If we can.
Let's do that. I'm just trying to find... There really is very little in the papers today. It's been quite... this week has been very hit and miss in terms of news, isn't it? In terms of what's going on in the old papers. Right said pleb. It turns out he did say pleb, but I don't quite know how the judge came to that.
He said that the policeman did not have the wit to have made it up, which is kind of...
so the copper's going,
a double-edged sword.
We won! What did he just say? What? That guy's a pleb!
And that he probably did say it. I think that was the outcome, wasn't it?
Going to cost him £2 million. £2 million. Hey, it turns out that Shakespeare was gay.
No.
What? Shakespeare was gay, Row. Romeo meets Julian.
Well, they were played by men, but that doesn't mean anything.
A row has broken out among Shakespeare scholars after one of them claimed the bard was gay. Sir Brian Vickers, visiting professor at the University College London, reckons the playwright used his works to tell the world about his homosexuality. He says the proof is in the sonnets, including number 18, when the bard asks a male pal if he should compare thee to a summer's day. But how do we know that he's... I don't understand how that proves he's gay.
Is he talking to a man in that? How do we know that? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate, isn't that how...
Last night, fellow scholars hit back at Sir Brian, accusing him of spouting rubbish. Richard's in Dunstable. Morning, Richard.
Good morning to you both.
Shakespeare was gay, apparently.
Is that right?
Well, I don't know how we know that.
I was never educated enough to find that out.
Exactly. Well, tell us what you've called up for.
Basically, I was listening to the earlier, very briefly, about the schools.
Yes.
I could not really believe what I was listening to. When I was at school during the 50s.
Yes.
And there was really no such thing as bunking off unless you were very, very brave or foolish.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had the school truant officers.
Yeah.
And if somebody was reported absent, the truant officer would go round to the house and find out why. If you were caught in the town without a good excuse or reason, and you were always with a parent in those days, you were immediately hauled off back to your school. No ifs, no buts, no, excuse me, any of the old malarkey, all this bribing of kids. I mean, the fact is that I don't know what's happening around here, but I was listening earlier to a young man that I thought was speaking from the Caribbean or Caribbean, whatever you... But to be honest with you, you have to have a good standard of English.
Yeah.
And if they're not prepared to learn that at school, how on earth do they expect to get a job? Because I certainly couldn't have employed them. And I'm afraid this is the thing. You've got to go to... How do you go and think, all right, it's the big problem about finding work these days, as we're all aware. But the fact is that it's too easy to get yourself written off, and it's peer pressure, and it's good old-fashioned parenting. My father left the regular army back in 1954 and immediately went back to do his ONCs and HNCs at Luton Tech. None of this fancy university name. He was at a technical school.
Richard, I've got to end it there because we're out of time. I feel we've got a glimpse into your life and your thoughts on that. I think he was referring to Justin Dealey.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Having a look at the cameras on the motorways, there's no reported problems on the M1. Things are moving well on the M40 as well. But having a look at the M25 anti-clockwise, it's very slow around junction 16 for the M40. In Watford, it's looking quite busy on the speed sensors on Exchange Road around the junction for Upton Road. And in Milton Keynes, Standing Way is moving well through those roadworks around the Kingston roundabout, although we are being warned to expect delays there. And at the moment, looking at speed sensors, it is looking quite slow between Grafton Street and Saxon Street. On the trains, East Coast have hour-long delays between London King's Cross and Leeds, Newcastle and Edinburgh Waverley. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. Incentivising kids to go to schools. And is there really any chaos around Black Friday? We've not seen any evidence yet.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: family criticism after man attacked at Milton Keynes prison. Police call to deal with Black Friday shoppers. And should Luton School offer rewards for turning up?
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The family of a man who was left with life-threatening injuries after being attacked by a fellow inmate at Woodhill Prison in Milton Keynes are demanding a full investigation. The 27-year-old victim from High Wycombe underwent emergency brain surgery following the incident last Thursday and is still in an induced coma. The Ministry of Justice say they deal with such violence quickly and robustly, but the man's sister says the prison failed him.
We want a full investigation. We want to know what happened, how they allowed it to happen, what the motivation behind it is. You know, all these, what type of safeguarding, obviously it's failed, the safeguarding's failed, it all needs to be reviewed.
Police have been called to deal with crowds at supermarkets offering discounts on what's known in America as Black Friday. Increasing numbers of British stores are adopting the practice of making special offers to kickstart the Christmas shopping season. More from Adam Porter.
Police were called to supermarkets in London and Cardiff because of big crowds when offers started at midnight. Officers in Greater Manchester say 2 people were arrested. Videos have been posted online showing crowds of shoppers fighting to get hold of televisions and other goods. Some retailers' websites are overloaded with traffic. For many businesses, the frenzy of shopping will be good news. Visa Europe is predicting it'll be the biggest online shopping day of the year, with more than £500 million being spent on its cards alone.
David Cameron will use his long-awaited speech on immigration this morning to announce new restrictions on welfare payments for EU migrants, but he's expected to stop short of suggesting a limit on the number of people coming to the UK. A boat has been badly damaged by fire in Milton Keynes overnight. 14 firefighters were called to Oversley Court in Gifford Park by the Grand Union Canal just before 10:30 last night. The water rescue unit from Newport Pagnell also attended, but no one was injured. A school in Luton is defending its scheme to give pupils the chance to win a bike or a scooter in a bid to boost attendance. Whitefield Primary School in the Marsh Farm area of the town says it's already seen an increase. Dr Sandy Mann is from the school engagement project Your Future, Your Life, which doesn't use reward schemes.
We go to some quite deprived areas, and some of them have no role models in the community of adult, perhaps adult males who actually work. And we try and change the way they feel about their future, rather than just say, go to school and you'll get an immediate reward.
In sport, former Watford manager Billy McKinlay has been appointed as David Moyes' assistant at Real Sociedad in Spain. McKinlay was only in charge at Watford for 8 days back in September. And cricket officials in Australia say no decision has been made about next week's test against India following the death of Philip Hughes. England are due to resume their one-day series in Sri Lanka tomorrow. The weather, a cloudy start with some drizzle, but brightening up with some sunshine this afternoon. A maximum temperature 12 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Today on BBC Three Counties Radio.
From 9.
The JVS Show.
With the big phone in, the hottest topic of the day, and your consumer problems.
From 12.
Nick Coffer.
With Duncan Dyerson, who spends 9 months of his year in Guatemala, then comes back to Amersham to raise funds for his work in the South American country.
From 3.
Roberto Perroni.
The best stories as they happen every single afternoon, and the greatest talking points.
From 7.
Mark Forrest.
I'll bring you the best bits from everything that's been happening on BBC Local Radio.
Today on BBC Three Counties Radio.
keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on.
Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Busy show this morning. Should we be incentivising kids to go to school? Mixed reaction this morning. I'll put my cards on the table. I think it's a cracking idea. And Black Friday, have you bought into this? And is there really chaos? I mean, someone sent me a link to a clip that 5 Live are plugging, but we've not had anybody in the region say, yeah, do you know what? It was nuts outside Lidl earlier on, or wherever, Tesco's, or wherever it is.
They may still be in there.
Really? 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, the Ministry of Justice has confirmed that another inmate has been attacked at Wood Hill Prison. Yesterday's attack was prisoner on prisoner, and officials are not connecting it with an assault last Thursday, which has left a 27-year-old man fighting for his life. Well, the family of that gentleman are demanding a full investigation. Francis Crook is the Chief Executive of the Howard League for Penal Reform. Good morning, Francis.
Good morning. 2
assaults in the space of a week, and also there's been a warning, hasn't there, from the Independent Monitoring Board that cuts could lead to a loss of control. Is that what's happening here, do we think?
Well, it could well be. I haven't been to Wood Hill for some time, so, excuse me, but it's certainly the case that prisons across the country have experienced the same sort of thing as Wood Hill, so I'm not surprised that that there are incidents of extreme violence. It's due to staff cuts and overcrowding. I mean, if you crowd a lot of young men into a very confined space, they get very little activity. They've got nothing to do all day, and those young men themselves often have very severe mental health problems, mental illnesses, drug addiction, alcohol addiction. I mean, is anybody surprised that there are outbreaks of extreme violence?
How overcrowded are prisons like Wood Hill?
Grossly overcrowded. They've got something like half as many people again as they should have. And Wood Hill is a complex prison. It serves lots of different needs. It has people who are waiting to go into, who are serving long sentences. There are some very complex people there who are themselves facing uncertain futures because they're waiting to go to court. So it's a really difficult ask. You need highly skilled staff. You need a lot of staff to manage people to make it safe. If we're going to send people to prisons like Wood Hill, we have to manage the prisons properly. Otherwise, people will die as a result.
Well, the last inspection report found that 5 people have taken their own lives at the prison.
Well, exactly. Suicide, self-injury, assaults on staff, assaults on other inmates. That's what happens inside the prison. Now, everybody listening to this should be very concerned because that kind of behaviour is making things worse. And when people come out of that prison, they are going to be violent again. We know that domestic violence is a real issue of people who've experienced violence in prison. We know that crime goes up as a result of poor prison conditions, so that the community suffers. So we're paying a huge amount of money for prisons that are doing a lot of damage.
It's interesting you say that, Francis, because having talked about prisons on this show before, I know there will be people listening who may even call in later on and say, well, so they're overcrowded, so what? Tough. So they've got nothing to do. Tough. So they're being violent with each other. Who cares? They shouldn't have broken the law in the first place.
Well, they should care because they might be the next victim, or their wife or child might be the next victim. The thing is, if people have committed crimes, you can do things with those people which make it less likely that they'll do it again. We know that. That's been proved. There are certain things you can do. However, there are certain things you can do which are likely to make it worse. Now, we know that prison conditions like those in Wood Hill make it worse. So we will have more victims outside in the community as a result of what goes on inside Wood Hill. That's why people should care. It's not so much... I'm not asking people to be bleeding hearts or do-gooders. I'm a do-gooder. I like to make the world a better place. That's why I do.
Shame on you, Francis. How dare you? How dare you?
I'm actually being quite hard-headed. I want to, make things better so that people don't create more victims of crime.
What's the answer for Wood Hill? What needs to be done to the prison and to the prisoners?
Well, immediately, I think the call must go to the courts not to send people to prison who don't need to be there, and particularly, for example, people on remand, when 70% will not get a prison sentence. So the magistrates are sending far too many people to prison on remand, and that would have an immediate effect of reducing numbers. Then also the call must go to the government to be more responsible. The government has presided over a huge increase in prison numbers and a cut in prison staff in the last 2 years. And that's a reversal of the policy that the coalition government came in with. So let's go back to the proper policy that the coalition government started with, which was to reduce numbers and invest in activities in prison so that people are working, doing something useful all day. That's what I want. I don't want them to lie on their bunks watching television. I want them to do an honest day's work.
Francis, nice to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Francis Crook, Chief Executive of the Howard League for Penal Reform. Your thoughts on that, please? She just kind of highlighted something that's quite interesting I hadn't really thought of. When did being a do-gooder become a bad thing? Why is do-gooder... Oh, there's all these bloody do-gooders. Why is do-gooder an insult? Surely, hey, if you're doing good, like Kelly Betts is doing good now by bringing me a cup of cough. Blooming do-gooder. Oh. Why is being a do-gooder an insult? That's strange, isn't it? Surely a do-badder would be an insult. I used to go to school with a kid called do-badder. I didn't. But it's strange, isn't it? You get all these do-gooders coming, wanting to help people. Shameful. So that's the time I've heard someone say, do you know what, I'm a do-gooder, and I'm proud of it. Well done you, Francis. Thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call about that, and also about incentivising pupils to go to schools. I don't see why it's such a bad idea. We've had all these people going, well, back in my day, we used to get a wallop if we didn't go to school. But it's not that day anymore, is it? It's not that day anymore.
No, and that really does encourage children to go to school, doesn't it, violence? That's what we all live for.
I don't buy the whole thing of you don't hit someone, you don't hit small people. You don't hit anyone really, but you don't hit small people. There are times when I could throttle my kids, and I can see how people with less patience, a smaller vocabulary, I'm going to say it, less intelligence, hit their kids. I think it is an intelligence thing, actually, because they can't see other alternatives. I'm not a perfect parent by any stretch of the imagination, and I did lose my temper with my kids last night. But I didn't wallop them. They were really, not really being a pain in the bum.
Yeah.
And I could see how someone with less intelligence, less tools at their command would have slapped them.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I've never felt the urge to hit my children.
No.
I wouldn't say that. I've never felt the urge to do anything like that.
You've never hit your kids?
I've never hit them. I've felt the urge to,
Yeah, of course.
But at that point you step back, and that is the hope that people do that. You can't tell someone off for you can't say don't hit your sister by hitting them.
Yeah.
You lose the argument. You've got to maintain the higher ground and be a grown-up.
So then saying that, well, when I used to, if I bunked off school, I'd get a wallop. Well, then, hang on, you're instilling fear. We should be instilling respect, not fear, and the two are not connected. don't think. Someone might think they are. 08459 455 555.
I used to get paid for going to college.
Sorry?
£30 a week.
What?
Yeah, if I could get all my lessons signed off by a teacher to say that I'd been there.
Who'd pay you? Don't say the council.
Can't remember.
Say your mum.
It was EMA. That was the scheme.
The what?
The Educational Money Awards. No, I don't know if that's true.
£30 a week? Well, that's ridiculous. How old were you?
Excellent. About 17.
So this was at college? This wasn't school? So it was optional?
Yeah.
Well, that's
my
ridiculous.
My attendance record was good anyway, and it would have always been good, but that money was a bonus.
Because you were,
The only reason I can see for paying a kid to
Catherine
go to
can't
school,
even look at you. She's so disgusted.
I'm just thinking about how much money I'm owed. The only reason I can
Well,
think...
you were a brown noser.
Yeah, I love school.
Yeah.
So, but still, that doesn't mean I shouldn't earn. Apparently, that's what we're all entitled to.
I don't think Kelly should have earned money for going to college.
No, but I can see why. There's one reason why you pay a kid to go to school.
Yeah. Keep quiet.
If otherwise their parents are going to pressurise them to get a job.
Well, get a job then.
There might be bright kids.
Well,
who should stay in school?
Well, if
but they can't justify it financially.
Oh, Kelly, you're still here.
It was a bonus, hello. But for other people, it was an incentive, and that was the reason that they went to college.
Well, that's crazy. No, I think if you're going to college, if you're making the choice to go to college, then you shouldn't get paid for that. That's ridiculous.
I wonder how much of it is for the children's good and how much is for the good of the figures.
Oh.
Look at our 100% attendance record. Look how amazing we've done.
Conspiracy theorist. Well, you can put that to the head teacher when she comes on.
Well, you can put it to her.
Well, no, you put it to us. Your point.
All right.
Will you?
Yeah.
I dare you.
That's fine. I don't need daring.
Bottler?
I'll ask her.
You bottled it. You've totally bottled it. Look at you.
We'll see if I bottle it in 5 minutes.
Well, we've seen and you have. You
Maybe
did.
Give us some money.
Who?
Kath.
I'm so confused.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the Great Barford bypass eastbound, there's been a serious accident involving several vehicles, and that means there's a lane blocked between the Bedford Southern bypass and the Black Cat roundabout. It's queuing on all the approaches there at the moment, and the police are at the scene dealing with the problem. In Boreham Wood on the A1 Barnet bypass, it's very slow southbound because it's partially blocked just after the Stirling corner, and it's causing queues from Boreham Wood at the Holiday Inn turnoff. Having a look at the motorways, the M25 anti-clockwise is looking quite slow on the speed sensors at the moment between junctions 16 for the M40 and 15 for the M4. And on the trains, East Coast have hour-long delays on their services between London King's Cross and Leeds, Newcastle and Edinburgh. But if you're getting on at Stevenage at the moment, it's affecting northbound services after Peterborough and not affecting services to London at the moment, looking at the departure boards. That's supposed to cause problems all day, according to East Coast. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. 8:16. It's Friday, the 28th of November. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a man who was attacked in Wood Hill Prison in Milton Keynes have criticised the prison service for failing to treat him quickly enough. Police have been called to supermarkets overnight after disturbances as shoppers queued for Black Friday bargains. And a school in Luton is defending its scheme to give pupils the chance to win a bike or a scooter in a bid to boost attendance.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We've all got a horror story about a delivery, letter or a parcel.
I waited in all day for it to be delivered, but it never arrived.
I paid for first-class stamps, but it still took 4 days to arrive. What was the point?
And on Monday, we're going to find out why.
The JVS Show.
I'll be joined by John Mayer, the man responsible for Royal Mail across Beds, Herts and Bucks. And you can ask him whatever you want.
Why does the price of stamps keep going up so much?
If you've got a question, email it to jvsshow@bbc.co.uk and we'll get as many of your points put to him as possible. A JVS Show Royal Mail special, Monday from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
A gym or a swimming pool? Go for a steam.
Go for a steam.
When my voice went, I should have done it as soon as I knew it was going, and I didn't, and that was part of the problem. But when it went, I would go for a steam every morning and sometimes in the evening as well at the local leisure pool, and just sit in the steam room.
Right.
Go in the steam room, sit there, it'll lift all off your chest.
At the gym I was a member of, there were normally rather dubious-looking chaps in the steam room.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely some kind of... I'm sure I sat on and... Yeah, I'm sure... Yes, there were those. I'm sure I sat on some people plotting atrocities.
Yeah.
I certainly walked in on women in very bizarre positions.
What?
Well, a woman, big lady...
Oh.
In like a swimsuit, but she's lying on her back with her legs flipped over, so everything was Oh, you walk in, the steam... Well, I don't know what she was steaming, Kath. But you walk in and the steam party, you think, oh, blimey, look at the state of that. Honestly, go for a steam. Your local swimming pool may have a little
Can't I
steam
just fill a bucket with steam, put a towel over my head?
You can. That works, but if you go and sit in a steam room for 20 minutes,
better.
it will just lift it all off your chest.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, I guarantee you do that for Treasure Quest tomorrow.
Oh.
Biff, baf, boof.
Piff, puff, puff.
Yep.
OK, well, I'll try that later on today.
Trust me. What's on your show this morning?
Coming up on the Big Phone In this morning, we're talking about David Cameron's latest plan for immigrants. You've seen it's all over the front pages of the papers today. I'll be asking this morning from 9, do you welcome immigrants to this country if they're coming to work? At 9:30 this morning, David Cameron will announce that immigrants from Europe will have to be here for at least 4 years before they can get benefits or a council house. And he'll emphasise that this reform will be an absolute requirement if Britain is to stay in the European Union. This announcement comes as we learn that net migration to the UK has risen above the 2010 levels. So the Conservatives have failed to reduce the number of people coming to the UK to below £100,000. But this new proposal would mean people would have to have a job before they arrive. Well, from 9 this morning, I'd like your views on this. There's been all kinds of discussion about immigration, and lots of people I know are very exercised about immigration. Get a lot of calls from people who say it's too high, too many people coming to this country. Well, here is a plan where we say, you know what, as many immigrants from Europe that want to come to this country, that's fine. You come, as long as you are coming here to work. Is that acceptable? Do we then say, well, that's OK, we don't mind immigrants that are coming here to work? Or actually, do people want something that goes further? Do people actually want a limit on the number of people coming from any other country, whether they're coming to work or not? From 9 this morning, we'll debate this. Do you welcome immigrants to this country if they're coming to work? 08459 455 555.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, a school in Luton is offering kids the chance to win a bike or a scooter if they get enough ticks on the register. Whitefield Primary School in the Marsh Farm area of the town says it's already shown an increase in their total attendance. Well, Jamie Pardon is the head teacher of Whitefield Primary and joins me now. Morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Ian.
Should I call you Miss Pardon, Mrs. Pardon? I always, even now as a 41-year-old man, I feel uncomfortable calling teachers by their first names.
I understand that because I would still call my teachers by their teacher names, but I'm happy to be called Jamie.
OK, thank you. Now, why did you bring in this scheme?
It was a scheme to celebrate children's attendance. There's a clear link, as Ofsted states, between good attendance and children attaining and achieving. So it was a measure with a range of incentives, like many schools use, to celebrate that.
And how does it work? To just explain the kind of fundamentals.
The fundamentals of it are, when it was set up last year by my assistant head teacher, Mrs. Begum, so I can't take credit for this scheme because this is her good work, was that any child that had 95% attendance or above for a half term gets a raffle ticket put into our beautiful globe. And at the end of the school year, we drew the raffle, and first prize being a bike and a helmet, and the second prize being a scooter and a helmet.
And has it worked? Have you seen an improvement in attendance?
We have. I mean, we've only run it for half a school year, and our attendance had raised from 93% to 94.6%. And it's even higher than that at the moment. So it has had an impact. And
there's also, they get extended break times as well, is that right?
It was one of the many initiatives. What we do, we have a weekly attendance celebration, so we talk about attendance and punctuality, and the class that wins that is awarded a certificate, and yes, they have 5 minutes extra play time. And it's part of, with any school, it's building that sense of community and working as a team. And I very much see attendance as a community value of our school. We're supporting our parents and working together with our parents to get children into school and learning.
If the attendance is up, have you seen an improvement in the performance by the kids?
Slowly. I don't know how much you know about my school, but I'm a new head teacher to the school, so we've brought in this is one of measures that we've used. But if children are in school, they're going to learn more.
My producer Catherine's got a question. Catherine, what would you like to ask Jamie?
Good morning, Mrs. Pardon.
Good morning, Catherine.
She's even older than me and she's doing it.
I just can't.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
I wanted to ask you something, and I know that head teachers are under a lot of pressure to fulfil various criteria when it comes to their schools. Is this more about jumping through the hoops and getting your attendance records up, or is this for the good of the children?
For me, it's always about the good of the children. I mean, like you say, wherever you work, and within education especially, there's always targets to hit. That's an undeniable fact. But for me, the reason I'm in teaching and the reason I'm a head teacher is because it's about the children. I want children to be self-motivated to learn, but part of children learning that self-motivation is that we celebrate their successes.
See, I think this is a cracking idea. It split people this morning, as I'm sure you can understand, Jamie.
Totally, I can totally understand.
Have any of the parents said, "Get knotted"?
Personally, I haven't had any negative feedback about it. Our parents are valuing the fact that we are taking. This is one of many measures to engage with our families and enthuse children about coming to school. And it fits in well with our initiative of being a healthy school. We encourage children to bike safely to school, so it also fits in with that for me.
Do you know what it is? I think that it's a shame that it comes to this, but if that's the reality, the ends justify the means. Get them through the door, and then you can light the little fires, can't you?
Exactly, and as I said, I'm in teaching because I love to see that spark in children. And we're seeing that, and that I can only take that as a positive.
We had someone earlier on, Jamie, who was saying, well, if a kid misses or bunks off or misses for whatever reason a couple of days, and they start falling behind, and they know they're not in the running to get that raffle ticket or to get that extra break time, then that could what's the word?
Disincentivise.
Thank you very much indeed. Them or their parents to, they might think, oh, we're out of the race for this term, so we won't bother as much.
But that's a challenge with any target that's set of anybody, isn't it? And this is why it's only one of many measures. As I said, we've already talked about the class incentives and celebrations. I also have a very strong family worker team who work to support our families. We celebrate learning all the time, so we have these other measures to engage families and children with learning.
Are you having a big Christmas show or something, a big assembly?
Our Key Stage 1 children are going to be putting on our Christmas performance.
When's that going to be?
It's in the last week of term.
Hey. Are they getting all excited?
They are. Christmas decorations go up on Monday, so there's a big excitement about that.
Beautiful. Jamie, I think it's a really interesting idea, and I think it's a cracking idea, and we'll take some calls and see what people think, but thanks for your time.
OK, thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Do you know what would be good? We catch up with her again, in a couple of months and see how it's working.
Yeah, definitely. Miss Pardon, the head teacher of Whitefield Primary. I do feel uncomfortable. I'm fiddling with my keys as a prop because I feel uncomfortable calling a teacher Jamie.
Are you chewing?
Oh, spit that out, please. I think it's a good idea, and you're right. If that's kind of what it takes in this day and age to get kids and families that are not interested in education to get them to school, then why the hell not? And once they're there, then the trick is to enthuse them and get them excited, but getting them through the door, I suppose, is the initial thing.
And this idea of giving a class a reward for having behaved themselves isn't new. They call it golden time at my daughter's school, and if they misbehave, then they don't get it.
My boy, he came home, we had very proud to point out to me day before, he had a sticker, got given a sticker.
Oh, yeah. They love stickers.
And it was for his French class, and it said très bien with the thumbs up. Mm-hmm. I said, well, that's
très bien.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. What does très bien mean? He said it means thumbs up.
Oh,
I ripped the sticker off him and threw it away in the bin.
Très mauvais.
Oh,
très mal.
Huh?
Very bad. Very bad of you. Kids will do anything for stickers.
Yeah.
Something I learned pretty early on. I've got mummy's stash of stickers. Oh, it pays dividends.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Denham on the A412 Southlands Road is closed in both directions between Southlands Road and the M40 Denham roundabout because of an accident involving a car and a lorry. In Great Barford on the A42 and Great Barford bypass eastbound, there's been a serious accident involving several vehicles, and that means that there's a lane blocked between the Bedford Southern bypass and the Black Cat roundabout, and that's causing it to be very slow on all the approaches to the Black Cat roundabout at the moment. On the motorways, the M25 anti-clockwise is very slow between junctions 16 for the M40 and 15 for the M4, and on the trains, East Coast now have half-an-hour delays on their services between London King's Cross and Leeds, Newcastle and Edinburgh. So if you're getting on at Stevenage at the moment, that's affecting northbound services after Peterborough and not affecting services towards London at the moment, checking the departure boards. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30, I'm Simon Oxley. The family of a man who was attacked in Woodhill Prison in Milton Keynes have criticised the prison service for failing to treat him quickly enough. Police have been called to supermarkets overnight after disturbances as shoppers queued for Black Friday bargains. David Cameron will use his long-awaited speech on immigration this morning to announce new restrictions on welfare payments for EU migrants. And a school in Luton is defending its scheme to give pupils the chance to win a bike or a scooter in a bid to boost attendance.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The former Watford manager Billy McKinlay has been appointed as David Moyes' assistant at Real Sociedad in Spain. McKinlay was only in charge at Watford for 8 days back in September. The Hornets, meanwhile, host Cardiff tomorrow in the Championship with keeper Aurelio Gomez again a fitness doubt. In League One, Milton Keynes Dons welcome back centre-half Carl McFadden after suspension at home to Colchester, but skipper Dean Lewington is still ruled out with injury. Here's manager Carl Robinson.
We can see the 2 goals on Tuesday from a deflection and an own goal, so it's not as if that we're getting carved open, and I think that's what I want to highlight to the players again today.
League 2 leaders Wickham make the long trip to Hartlepool. Third place Luton hosts managerless Mansfield without suspended centre-half Luke Wilkinson. And Luton striker Alex Wall has joined Bristol Rovers on loan. Meanwhile, Stevenage have signed Rovers striker Ryan Brunt ahead of tomorrow's home game with Morecambe. The Borough have also extended the loan of Southend frontman Lee Barnard. Everton and Tottenham are both through to the knockout stages of the Europa League. Everton won 2-0 away to Wolfsburg. Spurs beat Partizan Belgrade 1-0. Cricket officials in Australia say no decision has been made about next week's test against India following the death of Philip Hughes. England are due to resume their one-day series in Sri Lanka tomorrow. Here's the England captain Alistair Cook.
Playing against him a few times and chatting after the games, obviously it's left-handed opening batters and sharing a bit of a passion for farming as well. We had something to talk about, so it's a real unbelievably sad week for cricket as a whole, and I couldn't imagine what the Aussie players are going through after how we're feeling over here.
Bedford Rugby Club host Doncaster this evening in the British and Irish Cup, aiming to bounce back from Sunday's league thrashing at the Cornish Pirates. Kick-off at Goldington Road is at 7:45. And Formula One bosses have agreed to ditch the controversial final race double points scheme for next season. BBC Three Counties News and Sports. The next full bulletin is at 9.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
OK, last 30 minutes of the show. Oh, it's a good podcast this week as well. This is a very good podcast this week, isn't it, Kelly?
Excellent.
It's an excellent podcast. Yes. It'll be released soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
I mean, I could do it now because we're probably not going to get anything.
We're not going to get gold in the last... Put it out now.
Just put it out now?
Put it out now.
I'll wait just in case.
For what?
Gold.
Dealey might have some.
Dealey won't have gold.
He's always got gold.
Dealey's always got gold. Dealey, you always have gold. That wasn't meant as an insult. But
OK.
But it was clearly taken as one.
Yeah, it was.
It was a criticism, constructive.
I have got gold coming up, actually.
Oh, have you? I'll tell you what, Kelly.
Yeah,
don't put the podcast out. We're going to see Dealey's gold.
All right.
Is it the best stuff you've done this week, Just?
No, probably the second or third, but it's very, very topical and something that you've been in denial about all morning.
What am I in denial about?
Let's just leave it there for the time being.
OK.
All right.
Well, or we could go to it.
It's up to you.
Well, I don't know. I don't control
What do you want
to do? I'll speak to the boss.
OK.
Go to
Kelly.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the phone.
We'll wait for the boss to finish her phone call then. Sorry, Catherine, were you going to say something?
I think we best leave it till after the show.
OK.
Should we play the audio, Justin?
Yeah, if you want to.
What have you been doing this morning, Just? I've missed you.
Well, you've been in denial all morning about Black Friday.
I've not been in denial, mate. Well, it's all hype, puff and bluster.
Well, I've been out this morning. I've been to a Tesco superstore in Bedfordshire, okay?
Right, yeah.
And when I got there, Ian, there was only a handful of goods left. People are on board with Black Friday. Now, I spoke to a member of staff. We're not going to name this member of staff, but she described the scenes around midnight last night when people turned up for their bargain. Just take a listen to this.
Shoving and pushing and...
Were people fighting?
Towards the middle bit, yeah. They were panicking a bit that the stuff was going.
So there were fights?
They were biting. Biting.
People were biting each other? Over televisions?
Televisions, PlayStations and... yeah.
I mean, how ridiculous is that? A bargain's a bargain, but people going around attacking others simply to get something...
They were in the back of the queue. It was going.
There you go.
They were biting each other?
People were biting each other.
What utter scumbags?
In a local Tesco store in Bedfordshire, people clearly getting their teeth stuck into a bargain. Absolutely outrageous.
Utter scumbags.
There's the goal, do you see?
Well, yeah, it's not good enough for the pod, though, mate. By a long stretch.
No.
You got more audio, though. Will Black Friday 2, JD?
Listen, if it's not good enough for you, that's going to network right now, that clip. Sorry? We spoke to a staff worker. I mentioned there was only a couple of items left in the store, which were being snapped up this morning. People were out bargain hunting early doors as well.
What kind of bargains did they have this morning?
Well, take a listen to this. Here we go.
What?
You got to press play.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Ross, it's Black Friday. You got your bargain in your bag. What have you got?
Just one of those window washers, Castle window washer.
How much was it again?
45.
45 quid. How much would it have been?
80.
I mean, some people, i.e. Ian, back in our studio, saying, oh, it's a complete and utter waste of time, it's all hype over nothing. What would you say, considering you've just got a bargain there?
It could be better. Online, everything crashed. Couldn't really get any deals last night, so...
Really? So you went online and it wasn't happening for you?
Every website was crashed, yeah.
Isn't it incredible? Thank you so much.
No worries.
Hey, sir, what's your name?
I'm Joe.
How are you, Joe?
I'm great.
Great stuff. You're a happy man. You've got a 50-inch TV there.
Yes, I do, yeah.
How happy are you?
Very happy.
So how much have you paid for that?
$249.
And how much would it have been?
$450 for $500.
So on Black Friday, you're a happy dude.
It's a happy Friday.
Thank you very much. Enjoy. Take care.
Thank you.
So he got 200 quid off a TV?
He did, yeah. He was very, very happy.
I bet he could have bought it for that much online.
Yeah. Quite possibly, but as you heard in the first clip there, that gentleman tried to go online. A number of the websites have already crashed, so there's no point going online.
Well, I bet if he'd searched around online... before Black Friday, he'd have found it for that price.
Well, there were other people in the store this morning who were on the phone to their other halves and they were checking the prices out online and then buying the TV. So they've done their research online and they've got that TV cheaper by going into a store. I'm just saying. I don't know why you're so negative about this. I think it's great for the shops. I think people are going to be going out today.
It's not great. I tell you what, it might be great for the shop. It might be great for Tesco. Well done, because they've had a tough year.
About them.
They've had a tough year, and we need to be kind to them. It's not great for humanity.
Why?
Oh, for good. But listen, people buy, and I'm hardly one that can talk. I've just spent an absolute fortune on a single on eBay, but. People buying stuff that they think they need it because it's cheap.
You see, I like Black Friday. The reason I like it is because it's not technically a sale. When it comes to the sales around Christmas time, you go into the stores and absolutely everything is reduced and all the tat's out. You know, when it comes to Black Friday, you walk into a number of stores today and just the normal stock, everything, nothing's been moved in that store at all, but everything will have maybe 20 or 30% off. So I think for me personally, it does work.
You're bowing down and worshipping and stroking the great god of consumerism. That's what you're doing.
Come on, people at the moment haven't got that much money. If they can say...
So don't...
Exactly, put the wind in their sails by making them feel like it's a special day.
By making them spend money they don't have on stuff they don't need.
They might have £250 for a TV, but they might not have £500 for a TV. Everyone's
What's wrong with the TV? What, that fella you spoke to, I think it was a fella.
Yeah, it was,
What was wrong with his old TV?
Well, he wants a new TV for Christmas. Maybe he's had a TV that was 10 or 15 years old. He's been waiting for that opportunity. Today it's come. It's a win-win. The stores are winning and the consumers are winning as well. I don't see what your beef is with this. I really don't.
It's partly your attitude.
What have I done?
You are rubbing me up the wrong way.
I just think it's a great day to go out and have some fun and to get some bargains as well. Come on, guys, live a little for once.
Mark's in Bletchley. Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Ian.
Do you want to correct Justin?
Well, I just walked past, I'm on my way to work, Denby, and I just looked across the road to Asda's, and they're called queuing quite happily outside the George end, so obviously 8:30.
They're queuing outside Asda's?
Honestly, yeah.
What for? Is Catherine mouthed, but actually out loud so that we could hear?
I dread to think, but I've got a colleague who actually got up at 5 o'clock this morning to go and do it, so... They must be after something online where you can get in Asda's. But,
yeah. So what time is Asda's open now?
Well, it's open normal for the food, but I think they've segregated the bits where all the tellies are and all the posh stuff, you know.
The posh stuff. All right.
I can't see anybody queuing up for a bag of sprouts.
No, Mark, thank you. Why don't they put the stuff that we need in Black Friday? Why don't they make... you're right, bag of sprouts 50% off.
Instead of great big consumer items that otherwise you'd have to think about and maybe, I don't know, save up for.
Loaves of bread, tuppence.
You're wrong again, because some stores today are reducing food as well. Not all of them, but some of them are.
Kelly?
Hello.
Did you just do Black Friday while I was talking to Justin?
Yeah. Bought 3 dresses.
Just now?
Yeah.
For?
Seriously?
How is what for?
The thing is, I can feel my temperature rising, and I can feel I can feel myself thinking, well, maybe I should have a little look online to see what bargains are. But that's me getting sucked into the hype machine.
I'm annoyed.
Go on.
I'm annoyed that some of the shops that I frequent are doing this. When, you know, they've been making me pay full whack the whole time. I think I've been done.
Exactly. I said to my
parents... I'm not
parents...
going to spend more with them then. I'm going to not spend with them and teach them a lesson.
I don't want my parents to spend too much money on me. There's something that I want from a store in London. Today, it's got 20% off it.
Well, you're 38 years old. What are your parents spending money on you for?
Because somebody out there's got to love me.
Not just yourself.
True.
Thank you, Justin. See you later. Oh, what's on your show tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow, yes. Between 12 and 2, 2 hours of great songs and great memories. We have the UK and American charts from this weekend in 74, requests from the streets, and vinyl, you'll like this, has hit an 18-year high.
I saw that, yes.
So we're going to be talking about that. Which album would you never, ever get rid of? The one vinyl album which is in your collection, which is the one that you would never, ever get rid of?
Do you know what? I love a bit of vinyl, and a couple of years ago when we were moving, I cleared a load of stuff out, including all of my Beach Boys vinyl. What was I was thinking, I've got it all on CD.
Oh,
You idiot!
Why? My dad, he tried to sell his vinyl about a year ago, and I sat him down, I made him a nice cup of coffee, and I said, Dad, don't do it. Thankfully, he didn't.
Good words, Just. I wish I had you in my life when I got rid of those. Thanks, brother.
Cheers, boss.
Take care. Ta-ta. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number, should you wish to give us a call.
Or you can send us a text message.
Have we got any texts?
81333, put 3CR on the beginning. Another load of tosh from America, says Mark of Bedford.
Yep.
Chris says, stop acting like plebs and get a proper job. Don't know who they're referring to there.
Well, hang on. Is
Are we allowed to use plebs these days, Chris, or should we see you in court?
For £3 million. Who's the plebs? Us or the people in the shops? Who's the pleb? OK, send us a follow-up text, please, highlighting who the pleb is.
Tony says, the winner of the bike in the school will be the most hated person there. Hey, Kath, don't let the kids light fires in school. That's wrong.
It would be great if the bike was like bright pink and it said, I heart school. I love teachers. Yeah.
Jean in Milton Keynes talks about the EMA, which is what Kelly was doing.
Oh, yeah, morning, Jean.
She was paid to go to college.
Which I think is wrong.
Educational maintenance allowance. 16 to 18-year-olds get a £120 a month now as a bursary from the college if they're in full-time education, if the family are on benefits or the children are in care. In my experience, this is from Jeannie Milton Keynes, the money is spent on cigarettes, food, etc., and not what the bursary is intended for, as it's paid into the young people's bank account.
Well, we can have someone who received that money. What did you spend it on?
Good morning, shoes.
Good morning, shoes. Wow.
Good point, Jean.
But I would have gone to college...
Anything else?
No, I don't smoke. I would have gone to college regardless of that money anyway. That was a bonus for me and my feet.
Yep. We've got an email. Oh, Steve's in Milton Keynes. Morning, Steve.
Morning, Ian.
I didn't see you there, boss. Sorry, what have you got for us?
Just thinking, the easiest way to sort out prisons...
Yeah.
It's quite simple. You can get rid of a majority of the problems. You can get rid of the teaching of skills.
Yeah.
You can get rid of the costs, or a lot of the costs. You can get rid of the violence.
Yeah.
It's just have single rooms, very small, where the door gets opened twice.
Yeah.
It gets open to throw the scumbag in, and it gets opened again to throw the scumbag back out. There's a little hatch for his food. He has his own little toilet. He has no interaction with anybody else. He has no teaching, no nothing, pure punishment, and it would work.
But it would work in what respect?
It would work as a punishment and a deterrent from the scumbag for when he eventually gets out after you've given him an adequate sentence from reoffending. They only reoffend because the punishment isn't enough.
That's not true, though, is it? The part
it is true.
Well, no, it's not. Where's your evidence?
It's a fact. I decided it's a fact, therefore it's a fact.
Fair play, Steve.
Didn't even try.
Let me just climb down off this high horse. I don't need to ride this horse. Thank you, Steve. That was a terrible argument, but put beautifully. I appreciate that.
Prisons get turned into really bad catteries. And society will be fine.
Oh, there's no comeback. How do you? Where's your evidence? It's a fact because I say it's a fact. Thank you, Steve.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Denham, Southlands Road is closed in both directions between the junction at Southlands Road and the A40 Western Avenue at the M40 Denham roundabout, and that's causing long queues from 5 points, and it's making it much busier than usual in Ivor Heath. Slough Road is looking very slow at the moment on the speed sensors between 5 points and Trump Way, and it's much busier than usual around there because of those problems. In Borehamwood on the A1 Barnet bypass southbound, it's queuing between Stirling Corner and the Holiday Inn turnoff, and in eastbound on the Great Barford bypass there's a lane blocked because of a serious accident between St Neots Road and the Black Cat roundabout. It's queuing on all the approaches to the Black Cat roundabout because of those problems. On the trains, East Coast have half-an-hour delays between London King's Cross and Leeds, Newcastle and Edinburgh, so that's causing problems mainly northbound after Peterborough and not really affecting services towards London at the moment, but they are likely to be causing problems all day. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you so much. 8:46. It's Friday, the 28th of November. In a month, it'll all be over. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Apparently, police have been called to supermarkets overnight after disturbances as shoppers queued for Black Friday bargains. The family of a man who was attacked in Wood Hill Prison in Milton Keynes have criticised the prison service for failing to treat him quickly enough. And a school in Luton is defending its scheme to give pupils the chance to win a bike or a scooter in a bid to boost attendance. You can give us a call about all three of those stories if you want. They've all kind of got you going this morning. 08459 455 555. Maybe we'll talk to you after we get the latest weather with Georgina.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. We've got a cloudy start to the day, possibly some spots of drizzle around first thing. It does gradually improve as that cloud clears from the southeast corner, but it may be that the further west you are, the least chance you have of seeing that, or less chance you have of seeing that. But it should be brighter by this afternoon. We may even see some sunny spells. The winds are increasing today as well, though, so we've got a bit of an easterly breeze. Temperatures reaching 12, possibly 13 degrees Celsius, though, so a good 2 or 3 degrees above the seasonal average. And tonight, some clear spells. It's mostly dry tonight, although there could be a couple of showers around. Those temperatures only getting down to between 8 and 10 degrees, though. And the winds ease overnight, so we've got quite a pleasant day ahead of us tomorrow with sunny spells from fairly early on, lighter winds and highs of 11 or 12 degrees Celsius. Sunday, though, is looking much cooler and more cloudy, and we have a front pushing through on Monday. Now, by the time it gets to it, it is fairly weak, but it could bring some rain with it, but looking more settled from Tuesday onwards. That's your latest forecast.
Your world is full of the things that are most important to you.
Now the County Council's wondering if it can take the buses away too by building bus tunnels underneath.
From what's happening in the next street to what's happening in the next town.
The fire was at its peak at around 9 o'clock when there were 60 firefighters and 20 engines here.
You don't want to just know about it. you want to really understand it.
It's a busy road, this is, for cyclists. Do you think it should be a legal requirement that cyclists have to wear helmets?
Your local news matters on BBC Local Radio, TV and online.
Helmets.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three.
Oil on the bum. Sorry?
That takes me right back to school.
I know it doesn't.
Time.
Yeah, fun times.
It was happy once all the scary kids left and I was in the sixth form and I ruled the school.
Well, you didn't. You ruled the library because you were such a swot.
No, I ruled the school.
Yeah, you didn't. You were the prefect. And how did you get that job?
I wasn't the prefect. I was the head girl.
And how did you get that job? That T-shirt could be taken two ways.
Popular vote.
And how did you get that popular vote?
Tight jeans. And witty banter.
What? Well, you said
Same way
witty
I get
banter.
everything.
Wowzers. That's
Even
incredible.
when I was there at the top of the year, I was still the smallest.
You were still smaller than the younger kids
Yes.
in primary school.
Yeah.
Kelly's quite small, guys, if you hadn't realised by her annoying voice.
She's our pocket rocket.
Not mine. Andy's in Letchworth. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, how are we?
You're through to the ladies.
I am indeed.
Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, how are you? Okay.
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I've got a total of 8 children.
8?
A lot of them have got older now, but...
Are they all with the same woman?
No. I've remarried, so she's got 5, I've got 3, so it's a total of 8.
Oh, so they're not all yours?
They're not all
But
mine, no.
oh, okay.
I still have to pay for them all.
Oh.
Now, it's that time of year, isn't it, where you start looking at the prices of a game for 60 quid, a console for £500, and I'm paying out for all these presents, struggling away, and every time I take my credit card out, I think to myself, when I asked her to wash up, she rolled her eyes. When I asked her to go to the shop, she stormed out the house.
Good point.
Is it just me? Is it just me?
Yeah.
Maybe just don't get that one anything, but the others.
This is all of them. All of them.
Oh.
This time of year, I remember every single bad thing that they have done.
Right, what you need to do then is get a big bag of stones and empty them into their stockings. No, get Father Christmas to empty them into their stockings and say, that's for every present you could have had if you'd have been good or bad, or a good boy or girl.
Maybe a bag of coal.
Yeah, well, stones. I think coal's quite expensive.
It is quite dear.
Yeah.
Or just get them all presents and get over it. It's only once a year.
All right, and well, thank you for your advice. And have a fantastic
No,
day,
you're welcome.
guys.
Do call again.
Thanks, Andy.
Well done. Fun
Take care.
And if you've got personal or emotional problems, call me now. 08459 455
I would pay top dollar to hear you two slackers doing a phone-in with Catherine being really surly and annoyed and Kelly not quite getting it. It would be a wonderful, wonderful listen.
Let's test it out.
Yeah, you be the caller.
No,
Come to us with a problem.
No. I don't have any problems. You know, my
You've
life
got
is...
loads of problems, mate.
No, I haven't, mate.
Mate.
You're my problem. OK, you're my problems. Last 10 minutes of the show...
Attitude problem.
Oh, that's not an attitude problem.
Wow.
Last 10 minutes of the show, 08459 455 555. You can speak to...
Agony ants.
I've totally forgotten your names. Only begin with a K. Catherine and Kelly, 08459 455 555. All my haters, now's your chance to speak to the taters. Latest taters. So away you go.
08459 455 555. What kind of things can they call us on, Kelly?
Anything, really, from Christmas shopping to Black Friday to the 80s to chocolate.
Yeah.
Just many subjects.
Yeah, if you're wondering which Christmas decorations are in and which are out this year, Kelly knows all about them.
Sure. Ian's dialing a number on his phone.
So I think we'll get a call any moment now.
08459 455 555.
How's this phoning show going,
Yeah,
guys?
it's so busy, mate.
Well, it's not. You've got. No, I can see the switchboard. No one's bothering to phone in.
There's so many people calling in. It's just not coming up.
It's
on
Black Friday. It's Black Friday on our switchboard, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Mate,
all over it.
You're embarrassing yourselves.
There we go.
Hang on. Oh, it's Andrew in Bedford.
Banned.
What do I do in this
He's banned.
Oh.
Sorry, Andrew.
Sorry. No, I'm not sorry at all.
Sorry, Andrew.
No, don't.
Although he has got a problem, so maybe we could...
Oh, Cyril. Oh, it's Andrew.
It's Andrew's twin brother,
Yeah,
Cyril.
bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, unfortunately, we're unable to
bye.
put you on air right now. Sorry, Andrew. I mean, Cyril.
Bye, Cyril. Andrew.
So,
bye.
the only person that calls in is someone that is banned. I think you guys have just got to...
Hang on. I don't see anyone calling you anyway.
Well, no, because I'm not hosting the show anymore. You're hosting the show.
No, but
You're
for the last
interrupting our
hour.
show. You're interrupting our show.
OK, well, do you want me to be quiet?
Yeah.
I just think the next 7 minutes is going to be awkward.
It could be what?
Awquado. Yeah? You want me to be quiet? Bye.
That's nice.
If you have an annoying colleague, call me now, 08459 455 555. What tips and tricks have you got for people who are working alongside someone they cannot stand?
08459 455. That's not me you're talking about, is it?
No. We both know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
81333, put 3CR on the beginning of your text if you want to text us a message. And of course, we will
begging
not,
for texts now.
we won't
No, we're
reveal
just giving out
your
information,
name.
mate.
Some people, it's
BBC.
quite a sensitive thing, and some people might not want to have their voices on air if they're making quite specific comments about a colleague.
Do you want me to take over
No,
and save
can
the
you
show?
place your mic again?
I'll take over and save the show.
Can you...
OK.
So annoying.
It's nice when it's silent.
Not that good for a radio show.
Mate?
Can you butt out... Oh, there's a phone.
Hello, Three Counties.
This is great, actually. This is the way radio should
Hello,
be.
yeah,
It's raw. You can hear the coal face. This is the coal face, and this is Kelly chipping away at
Toby,
it. Listen.
can I put you straight through?
Here we go.
It's down the line.
Because we're desperate.
Ian, can you open Fader 1, please? Hello, is that Toby?
Yes, it is. Is
Hello.
that,
You're through to the... it's Kelly. You're through to the...
it's
Kelly and Kath
And I'm Catherine,
hotline.
so what can we do for you, Toby?
well, I have trouble meeting girls, and I was wondering if you'd give us any pointers. What's the best way to do it?
Talk to me about where you're trying at the moment.
Well, it's sort of the usual sort of places, pubs, that sort of place. Don't really know this area all that well, so which is near Berkhamsted.
Yeah.
So any pointers you could give us on the right sort of place?
Have you tried Get Your Coat You've Pulled?
No.
No,
That's
No?
old-fashioned.
All right, sorry.
What you need to do is go up to the lady of your choice and have a few in mind, because you don't want to be too specific at this point. Let's try the scattergun approach, right? First one, nearest one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't want to walk too far. Go up to her and say, hello, do you like the One Show?
Ah.
You'll be in.
What about this one? I was told that this is the best chat-up line ever. And I don't know how true it is. Tell me what you think. It's, I've lost my phone number. Can I borrow yours?
Oh,
I like
nice.
it.
Yeah, that's a classic, but I think that probably would still work.
The only thing is, if you said that to me, I would say, but how are you going to ring me? Because
No, phone number.
Lost your number. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a way of him getting your
See,
number.
already me and you would be chatting at this point.
She would have laughed.
You see, these slackers think that my job is really, really easy, hosting a phone-in show, but actually, it's flipping hard work. You've got to be charming, charismatic, hard as nails, and soft as a feather in a light breeze that's being blown around. People won't just call in because you're being pleasant. If they do call in, then they'll be like Toby. They'll be dull, pointless, and rather dull. Whereas if I get callers coming in, then they're excellent callers who are very strong-minded, have strong opinions, and we always have lots of good arguments and good bands. And we have good laughs, and it's fine. But it's a skill. It's not a skill that you're born with. It's a skill that you acquire over years and years of hard work. When I say hard work, I mean, of course, life. Absolute
Can you
life.
stop talking and...
Oh, could you hear that?
Yeah.
Morning, Simon.
That was my inner monologue.
Hello, Simon.
Hello, morning.
What can we do for you, Simon? You sound gorgeous today, by the way. Have you done something different with your hair?
Oh, Simon, can you speak into the phone and not to spoon? Hello?
Simon's having problems with his mobile phone. I think he's phoned the wrong show.
Yeah.
What we can do for you, though, is give an excellent number. It's 08459 455 555. If you were to call that in about 6 minutes' time, there'll be someone on hand. His name is Jonathan Vernon Smith. He knows all about phones.
I think it's probably time we killed this experiment as though it were a monkey in a lab.
Call.
Hello, Three Counties. Hello, Three Counties.
Oh, dear.
Three Counties. Simon?
Is that Simon
Your
again?
phone's Robin. OK, bye.
We're going to leave those losers in that studio over there because I think we've proved quite categorically that this is actually a really tough job, and I get the abuse and sometimes I make mistakes. I'm human. Humans make mistakes, and they make the perfect bits seem even more perfect and spot on. Thanks for your help this week, guys. And when I say your help, I mean you, the listeners, not the clowns that are working on the show.
Hi, Carpet Martin. How are you today, Fader One?
Very well, thank you, Catherine. How are you?
Oh, all the better for hearing from you. What can we do for you? I can't imagine you're a man with any problems.
I was wondering, do you like the One Show?
Oh. News for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Denham, the A412 is closed in both directions because of an accident at the M40 Denham roundabouts, causing long queues from 5 points, and it's also making it very busy around Iverheath on Slough Road. On the A1 southbound, there's reports of a lane blocked between the M25 junction 23 for the A1M and the Holiday Inn turn-off at Boreham Wood. And in Great Barford, the A421 Great Barford bypass has a lane blocked at the Black Cat roundabout, so it's queuing on all the approaches to the Black Cat roundabouts. On the trains, East Coast have half-an-hour delays on trains through Stevenage, but they're mainly northbound, not affecting trains towards London. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Justin. Everybody else who worked on the show this week. I think we made it one more time. This week's podcast, it is a corker, actually. There's some cracking stuff on it. It'll be online, I don't know, in an hour or so. If you go to the BBC Three Counties website, you'll get it from there. And later on this evening or tomorrow, it'll be on iTunes. JVS is up next from all of us until Monday at 6 o'clock. Have a nice weekend. Ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Friday. Ooh, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In, do you welcome immigrants to this country if they're coming to work?